so just stay tuned. Just wanted to let you know what we're doing.
Nice. All right.
I have another one of these in the.
Oh yeah, look at those little things. Those are great. We used to have those out in the encampment.
I didn't.
People.
I did not check the headphones, but let me set
Oh
my
yeah,
X
check
real
yours.
quick.
Yeah.
And then let me set that up, and then you can share it.
What numbers do you have on?
I thought I had X on my phone. I don't even know what's going on.
I just oh my god. I just blamed it on my kids and my husband. They're just frazzling me so much.
Your kids frazzle you?
Yeah, and yes. they're always around. That's how I wanted it though.
I wish I could do my live video on Facebook. I think
You can. I will.
Where
we
should I
can
put my
talk about
phone,
that
though?
later. Oh, you mean with that?
Yeah,
Oh.
maybe. Because people would watch it.
Yeah, you could. I mean,
Oh yeah,
I don't know. Is there another stand?
Let's see. We'll see. Sorry to give up. Wait, what is this being for?
Are you on a time limit, Aja? Do you have somewhere
right
to be
now.
at a certain time?
I have some time, so we can do this.
What is this plugged into? What do you think this goes to?
It goes to one of the cameras.
Oh, we're not using it, right?
I'm gonna put on one of the cameras. Why? I have an extra box.
You
need
do?
a box?
Yeah, box. That's what I
This needs to be.
I just need an extra box. I'm gonna go behind you. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I'm always thinking I'm thinner than I am, but I need it. All right. Yeah, because I'm thinking.
I just want to make sure this chip's in here. Wait. Okay. I'm glad I checked. What, did you take the chip out of here, Vanessa?
No. I haven't touched anything.
Let me go ask her real fast because.
Oh, for the video?
Okay, that's.
Yeah, there's no for the recording.
Oh. Maybe someone took it on accident.
Huh?
Maybe somebody took it.
Well, let's double up.
Okay. Okay, if we can figure out. Oh. Okay. Excuse me as I fall over everything. I have to have major spine surgery in August.
Really?
Yeah. I moved my left hand.
Due in August, or you did?
I have to in
Oh,
August.
no.
This hand doesn't work. It went paralyzed like 3 years ago, and so they have to put take bones out and put metal plates and screws, and they wanted to do it to me, and I was like, fuck no. I'm like, I can heal my own body. But it is so terrible. So if you see me dropping things and things, it's just because I only have one hand and I drop things all the time. But don't worry about it.
I did that.
Yeah, I try to.
I have
Yeah.
cute little carpal tunnel, like
You-
nerve damage, but I fractured both my wrists when I was a kid.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Dancing, I did a high kick, and it was this. It was wet. We were just doing a car walk, and I landed on
You
Oh
did.
my gosh! I need
like
someone else
both
that fell.
feet up and went, and I'm all, oh my god.
Right.
My husband did. That's a hard.
Especially when there's. I had to go save her. I'm like, I need you to wash my hair.
Yeah.
Well, I have to have Hattie put my deodorant on my daughter. I can't even tie shoes anymore. I can't do shit. And
At
then
least,
sometimes,
like, your fingers work at that point.
Well, she
Somewhat,
was-
It still hurts. So
yeah, it's like I
but
can't.
you,
These don't do nothing. Yeah.
and it maybe, I don't know.
The doctor yesterday, he's like, can you grab? I'm like, no, this is all I can do. He's like, come on. I was like, no, you don't understand. I'm like Jedi trying. It's
Do you
nice.
see my husband? He broke it right before COVID. And it's pretty disgusting. It's fused. It's gross. But
What happened? Wait, what did you say?
he broke his for the second time skateboarding. Broke his wrist right before COVID, and they were supposed to do surgery with getting a cadaver.
Oh,
And then COVID happened, and they didn't want to see him at all. And so now it's
interesting.
it's really gross.
What were they going to do? Bone for the cadaver?
They wanted to
Interesting.
because it wasn't the first time, and so it was just so he could have mobility later on. Because they said he's not gonna be able to use it after time if he doesn't get the surgery. What I said, looks pretty disgusting.
That sucks.
So it's fused like his.
Isn't it fun getting older? I swear. Thank God my dog loves me. I'm joking.
What'd you say?
Thank God my dog lives here. Doesn't have.
Oh, the chip.
I
That's the
feel
most
like it
important thing.
might be dangerous.
Right, yeah.
You might want to do what I did and put this over
I'll have
there.
this.
Like, take this and, unless,
Yeah, I think that might work. It just doesn't, I wish it was a little bit,
yeah, you can.
see everybody, but we'll see. We'll just.
If you turn the camera, you might get a
Oh.
different angle. So
Hi,
try that.
you're
and
so
then look from
smart.
behind.
Stop it. Think you're here. You're so right. Right?
No, yeah, but.
Yeah.
Oh.
Will you help me?
Oh,
'Cause-
that. Okay, yeah.
Oh, what were you
Oh,
thinking?
here.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was like, you
My
can,
one
you can
hand.
do the back camera.
Sometimes they take it out. Oh, there's a different way to turn the camera on
So
the
let
camera?
me. Well, usually you can like flip it. You know what I mean?
Thanks.
Yeah. I didn't
Oh, I
think to look. That's what I thought about doing too, is bringing
that's
my
not
own
gonna
stand.
work.
Just take
But-
it.
Yeah,
Oh.
feel free to
Anytime.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
of course.
It has to go like this. Sorry, I'm like, what's happening?
It's not my daughter. Of course it's my daughter. It's my daughter. I got it though. Hey, Had. Yeah.
Hi, I just wanted to let you know the plan. I just got a J's and
Wait, hold on a minute. I can't hear you. Wait. Hold on. Hold on. I'm sorry. Wait, what'd you say now?
Did you put on your head? Did you already test your
Yeah.
headphones?
What?
Am I super loud? No? I feel like I'm
No, you're.
really
It
loud
just sounds loud.
in my headphones.
You can turn them down.
Okay.
My
Or I'll call you when I'm
yes.
done. I love you.
What number am I?
I don't know.
Number 2.
What?
Test.
Yeah, I guess. And then I'll pick you up a little later.
Are yours too loud?
No,
I love
don't
you,
think
bye.
So. I feel like I mean, it is weird because you do hear yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I hear all the crackling.
But at least it doesn't echo.
Yeah.
That's why you got to be careful touching them
I did it, you guys.
Yeah,
Did you
and me
hear all
touching this.
and that.
Let's go.
Are we ready?
Yeah. We have to be.
I just wanted
Yeah.
to invite
It's
all of
already
you. This is live, our podcast, What's Your Shift? And we have such an incredible guest on today, so I'm going to go live. I hope you enjoy it.
You might want to. Can you just like clean your little camera?
Is it a little dirty?
Oh, or maybe it's your screen thing. I don't know. I just in case. I
Yeah.
just always like to do that. It's just I'm not sure if it is or
No,
not.
you're smart.
But- I just hate when I do a whole video and it's
And then it's all
it looks like you have
fuzzy.
a fingerprint on.
right.
It's like it's an old video. It's not the new HD. That's what it looks like. Oh, so that does work.
It does. I think I have to turn.
Does it show on your computer?
Sometime when I have it show, then
All right, here it is. We're going to go
stops
live for
recording.
our podcast. I hope you enjoy it. And it's called What's Your Shift? And we have an incredible guest on today. Audra Morgan.
Yes.
Oh, you recording?
Yeah, it's
Well, I mean,
Oh, I didn't hit record on this.
well, they're on. I mean,
That's
like,
okay.
Oh,
we're
we're
just
on?
live. We're just here.
it's
you
been
know.
there. It's been on.
Yeah, here we are.
Number
Hey,
18.
Hey. How are you, Nat?
I'm okay.
Yeah. So we just want to thank everybody for being here, especially Audra.
Or as I have come to originally know
Oh,
her,
sorry.
the
Original.
original.
The original
The-
draw. Well,
the
it's the original
original-
draw. And they usually just say the original. And sometimes they'll be like the
Right.
original DRA, like Blair Beekman will be like DRA.
Oh my gosh.
You know, the original.
There's a Blair Beekman is a name that I've become familiar with too. Shout out to Blair.
Yeah,
Beekman.
shout out to Blair.
This is What's Your Shift. We have our first guest.
Yeah. It's exciting.
Really excited.
I'm very excited that you're here. Yeah.
Really, really
So are
excited.
we. So are we. You bring your voice and your heart, you know, and you really bring the truth. And sometimes people don't want to hear that because it makes them uncomfortable, but we need to make people uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, it's time to get. I mean, that's the thing. It's like I don't know how uncomfortable people want to get because it's already bad, right?
Right.
And it's like you shouldn't need any more to see the effects of them being negligent with our money, right? There's plenty of money, so it's not as though you know, it needs to get any worse. Like, everybody is in dire straits, but for some people, in order to accept that reality of what's going on, it's like they have to go through further trauma, and
Right.
it's unfortunate because it's like you don't have to wait that long. Like, you know what I mean? We can stop it right now. We could have stopped it during COVID even.
Absolutely. The money that's come in and the things that haven't been built that were supposed to be built, especially affordable housing. And I'm not talking about this affordable housing that these developers bring in and say, oh, it's $1,600 a month. I'm talking about affordable housing for people that have $1,200, $1,400, right? On the streets, disability, Social Security, maybe nothing.
Right.
They should be paying maybe $500 at the most. But at least having somebody come in and helping them for the first couple of years with all of the services that they need to help heal.
But it's a business.
I know
you
it's
what
a
mean?
business.
It's like,
We talk about that all the time, right?
you
Yes.
can't invest in something that's going to go away. That's when yesterday
Right.
they were talking about their budget, and they're like, our investments. And then they were talking about being an enterprise, and I'm like, those are things like Fortune 500 companies
Yeah.
that make millions and billions of dollars, like you guys do. But I mean, you
Right,
just
right.
pretend that you're the government and you're here now.
It's kind of an oxymoron, and I
Yes.
have a email from Sarah Jacobs' office that I wanted to. Also, it was an oxymoron because it said federal government and ethics in the same
Right.
the
In
same
the
line
same
to me. And so, yeah,
You're like, those will really go hand in hand.
it was an oxymoron for sure. So let's rewind a little
Okay,
bit so we
okay.
can see our guest.
Yes, I like to hear that.
Yes, I know. Sorry, we just kind of started going.
There we go.
That's real life.
I
That's
know.
real life what we do.
Good, get it.
That's right.
So, who is the Audrey?
Yes. I'd love to know more.
Where are you from, and what did it look like before you became an activist?
Oh,
Before your work began.
shoot. Well, I'm from Colorado. I was
Okay.
born in Denver, grew up in Littleton. I've been in California since 1999. And, you know, I moved out here actually to become an actress. That's what I wanted to do when I was
Really?
younger, yeah. And so I did that, and then I lived in New York for some time as well doing that. I had a movie that went to theaters, which was cool, because prior, like when I was, you know, liked some of the celebrity, whatever. Now we have different views.
Yes.
But anyway, Jim Carrey was like one of my favorite. I just thought he was so funny, so I'd imitate him a lot as a kid. And his movie poster for Jack and Jane was right next to mine, and I was like, oh my gosh, how cool is
That's
that?
right.
That is really
I am right next to him, and
at
I was
me.
like, I feel like
I
I'm
made
in
it.
the same, you know what I mean? So I felt like it was
That's
pretty
right.
cool, and that actually went to the Cannes Film Festival anyway. And so I feel like my training in that has helped me do what I do now, like with, you know, having my own podcast as well, doing journalism and, you know, public speaking, things like that. I feel like it's been, you know, like improv was always something I really enjoyed, and I feel like life is like improv. I mean, it really
It
is.
is.
It really is, yeah.
You know, and so if you can look, and not to say it's a game or anything, I mean, it is kind of like a game, but not in a way to discard it, but it's like, it's all how you play it or play with it, you know what I mean? And it's like, when you become free from the constructs that they set up around us, then it's like you can live totally differently. And so what I mean by game, part of it is like, you know, we know that everything is inverted, and so when I was trying to not lose my TikTok account, which is like, I don't really care, I'm just trying to get it to, I already lost one, and I had to put another one up.
Because you're a truth teller?
Yes, and so anytime I say anything about pedophilia or like adrenochrome,
Yeah.
things like that, like which, sure, whatever, but they're saying I have account violations, and so they told me I could take like a training if I wanted to in order to get my account back, right? And I was like, what? Okay, let's see. I was like, I think I'm gonna ace this.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel like if I had the same mindset as I do now when I was a kid, I could have aced every test. So you just give them whatever BS answer they want.
Right.
That is right.
You know what I mean? So it was like asking questions about public health and safety. So it had nothing to do with what my violations were, right? Which would be talking about pedophilia, child
Right.
trafficking.
I've never heard of this.
Oh, I've
At
gotten
all.
banned
I-
for this too, but I've never heard of having to go to do
Yes,
anything. But
you
I've
could do a
gotten banned
training.
for the pedophilia and saying
Yes.
the same kind of
But
thing.
it's now, it might be this new thing. So it's like you can go and be educated. So
They
I was
wanna-
like,
Okay.
They want to train you on what you
Yeah.
have to
God, I
say.
feel like I'm in like the Scientology room again when I was 20 when they tried
Right.
to like retrain my mind, and I was like, I can't even deal with this. I'm walking out. You
this
know?
is how they let you free think, right? When they give you A, B, C, or
Sorry, that's a whole
D.
nother
Like, it's like kids when they're saying, we want them to critically think, and then we're
Right.
only going to give you these
Yeah.
answers, and it's like, none of those fit.
Right.
What are you talking about?
Right.
But anyway, it was only yes or no, basically, is this a violation? And so it was like, if, you know, there was really a dangerous disease out there, and, you know, somebody was saying that it, like, wasn't, is that dangerous? Like, putting people in, I mean, things like that. And I'm like,
Right.
oh my gosh, of course that's a violation in this inverted world. I
Right.
feel like I'm going to ace this. And so it was like, yes. So when I say game, that's kind of what I'm referring to is like, and I don't mean to play their game. Like, that's not,
No, I hear
and
what
I
you're
understand
saying.
that's kind of like on the verge of it. But like, if we need to play in the Matrix, sometimes you got to figure out how to navigate
You
it.
got to know what you're dealing with.
Yes.
And what you're up against.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Not as far, like, I wouldn't tell people a lie, but it's like, if
Yeah.
they want me to do some kind of training, like, go ahead. Because
Yeah,
you
I'll
think
check
you're
it
going to
out.
educate me.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So that's how they re-educate us.
Reprogram.
Yeah.
My
Um,
mind is being seriously blown right now by what you just said
Oh,
about
yeah.
the Scientology.
Oh, that's a whole nother
I didn't
line.
know that.
Oh,
yeah,
years
that
ago.
blew-
Whoa, that blew my mind. That's not.
Yeah,
And
all that.
I
And it's
think that it's
reprogramming.
Yes.
well, yes, that's what they're doing
That's what
in
they do.
general.
Well, that's why we don't know what a woman is.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So we have to
Yeah.
relearn that. 'Cause
Right.
That's
The divine feminine. Yeah, it's been taken away.
Well, and I have an 8-year-old that is being introduced not by my own, you know, me introducing.
right.
It's other children that I'm like,
What?
I have to start really like being like skirt to a 9-year-old and say that's not appropriate for you to be talking to my daughter about that. Second of all, I don't want to parent somebody else's child, but I will step in and say what is appropriate in my space.
For sure.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
she's asking me these questions. I'm like, this is insane.
Like,
You're telling what's non-binary.
wow.
What do I
Right.
explain to her? So no, you don't get to. For my daughter, doesn't get to have a like. we
Because
should
you're
be thinking-
brainwashing her at that point,
Well,
acting
and I
like
don't
it
even-
exists.
And I don't even know how to explain it in a way because I do have compassion for people that have,
Absolutely.
you know,
Yeah,
question
of
what
course.
that is.
Sure.
Because I have my own opinions on what that is and how our mental state is
Yeah.
being mistreated.
Oh, yeah. For sure. So
But
it
for-
allows for this to take
right,
place.
right, and it's really a hard space.
You know,
to be
Hattie's
in.
17 almost now, and I remember when she was 11, she came home and she told me that she was thinking she might be this or that, and you know,
Right.
just and I just allowed her to, because I knew my daughter. I knew that she was just going through having to listen to this, and honestly, she even got like her friends were upset that she wasn't maybe just straight.
Right.
That was an interesting concept to me, you know, and I thought, gosh almighty, because you're supposed to be this or that. You're not
Yes.
allowed just to be
Right.
straight. You can't just like boys. Because if you don't like girls and there's something wrong with you, and then now you're
Right.
prejudiced against girls, and and I was like, whoa, you know, you can love everyone and still be authentic to you, you know. And so, but it took a couple of years for her to go through and not figure out who she was. And then when she was 14, she's like, okay, wait, no, that was just a phase. I think I felt like I was not pressured by any means, but it was just thrown at me.
Yes.
Like I had to accept it and I had to be part of it, or I would get shunned by my friends in a way.
And that's how they push things with kids.
Yeah,
you know
with
what I mean?
anything.
Well,
really.
sure,
Yeah,
but it's like
but
in
this,
order
yeah.
to push a society, you got to get to the kids. So
You
it's
sure
like
do.
you get to them in the way, and they're more easily manipulated.
Absolutely.
You know, because they're also like, I don't want to hurt people's feelings.
Right.
And it's not
Lose
that anybody
friends or-
does,
yeah,
but it's
no.
like I'm willing to do that to tell you the truth
Yeah.
because I feel like it's more harmful to you to not, and for you to think that your feelings being hurt are more harmful. It's the difference is
And that's the
what
world
I'm
we
doing
live in.
outweighs them. Yes.
And every level.
Yes.
Even with adults, like just the mind programming that people don't even realize is happening.
Right.
You know.
Well, and I'll tell you one thing that I was thinking about last night, and then I'll tell you a couple more things about
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have to, but
No, we won't.
No, we won't. Yeah.
I was like trying to bring us back. I was like, but when you know, we've had a lot of people trying to fight for immigrant rights.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not saying that just anyone's rights in general are not important, but the problem is that they're sacrificing their own rights
Yeah.
to fight for someone else's, and it's like you're not even seeing that your rights are gone. Like, you sit here and say there should be due process, all the things that you're saying should happen with these people don't even happen with you. You don't even have the kind of money for defense that you would want to give, that you want to give them.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so it's like I'm confused as even with the ALPR. It's like you should be concerned about your data being shared over
Yeah.
there. You should be concerned about all the data that's being collected with all of us and how they're going to weaponize it, because it seems
Absolutely.
like nice, and they talk about the centralization of things. I'm like, but that's like the centralized banks, you know what I mean? Like, this is a whole problem.
Yeah.
And once you put everything like that, you can bring everything to its knees just like that, because
everybody.
it's all in one place, and it seems convenient, but it's like, and that, so I just, for having their rights stripped away from them,
Yeah.
left
and right,
They don't understand.
and don't understand
They
it,
don't
but they're
understand it.
fighting for these people, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, what
Well,
about
you're
you?
not even paying attention, like the data centers. I mean,
Yes.
I want to hear more about
Yes,
yours.
no, we're
Like,
good. We'll get
that
back
is
to
so
things.
serious,
Yeah.
the data centers, and people not understanding. Like, that's not, it's a mass surveillance
Oh my gosh.
centers. They're not data centers. They're to find out who you are, to trap. I mean, we're already
Track, trace,
watched, but
yeah.
everything.
I think
Everything.
people
Social
some
credit scores.
understand,
Yeah.
but don't know where they're leaking and complying with moving it forward faster. Like I said, at the airport, people are standing in line and having your face scanned.
Yes,
And I was like, fuck that.
right.
Yeah.
And it
Because
seems
you can
like
make a choice, right?
Yes,
Yes,
but people
you.
think that they have
it's
to, so
not
they
a
do.
law.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not a law.
No.
And so me and my children stepped aside. They said, ma'am, you have to fill this out
Mhm.
online. Bring us your receipt on your phone and you'll be good to go.
Yeah.
Sweet. I stepped aside.
Nice.
They charged me $45.
Which
And
what's
they
that
charge you
for?
money
Money.
if you don't use their facial recognition.
And if I stayed longer than 10 days, I was going to have to do it again
Right.
and pay
That's-
another
wow.
$45.
Each person, or just for the?
Or is it a group?
Just for me.
Okay.
The children,
What
they didn't do.
They're
'cause,
free.
Right. But we didn't. I didn't
Why
scan
are
their
children
face.
always free? I think we
Well,
know
then
now.
why are we scanning
Right. Oh,
their
that's not even getting
faces?
that.
Exactly, but it's like
It's
they're
kinda
like,
weird, right?
yeah, and they
Yeah.
think, well, don't make them pay because they won't do it.
Well,
Know what I'm saying?
And
Like,
the world we
this,
live in today, you're not scanning my fucking kid's face.
well,
you
people,
know,
but
I'm
people
not-
were
yeah.
lining. I was the only person, and people were lining up, and they don't understand. Oh, I'll make it easier face scan. Not when they're scanning your retina of
Right.
your fucking eye,
Yeah.
so
Yes.
they can hit you anywhere.
Yes.
Second of all, it's not a law. And so where we're leaking, if everybody said no at that moment and was like,
Yes.
I'm not scanning my face, the whole airport would have been shut down.
Yeah.
Just from one flight. If the flight that I was on and everybody behind me said, oh, well, I'm not going to scan my face either,
Wouldn't that be wonderful? if we all
it would have shut down the
It's like
whole,
COVID. though.
one flight would have shut
I
down
know.
that whole airport. Now that is what I want people to understand how basically easy it is we can stop
Yes.
leaks.
Yes.
Yeah, the
It
co-
is
the-
so
yeah.
simple, but for real, like with COVID, that's what I mean. It's like when people are like,
I
just
didn't take
they
the
kept
vaccine. Did you
saying,
take the vaccine? Absolutely not.
no,
Me either.
no.
Absolutely not. Look at
No.
us.
That's negative.
Okay, there's a
But
reason
I've
we're
taken vaccines.
Of course,
But once
right.
I understood
what they're
Right.
about.
I was like, oh my gosh. And then
Yeah.
even with the COVID, when I was
Mhm.
doing research prior, it was like before it had come out, and I'm looking at I still don't even know where I found, I would love to go and find, but I had to do, like, take the words or the codes that they were
Yes,
saying of
yeah.
whatever stuff, and I was like, what is this? And I was like, it says HIV. Like, why is there
why?
AIDS?
Why?
And then I was like,
Dude.
and then it said herpes. And I'm like, I didn't say it, but that's what you go right, and I'm all,
Right.
that is banana. So that just that, when I was looking at that, prior to knowing there's like nanoparticulates,
all of that.
self-assembling,
Absolutely.
nanobots, right, and all the other things, it was just that, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I thought, I gotta tell people. And so I
Yeah.
remember being with Consuelo, we used to go to different vaccine sites
Nice.
and just try and get information, like see how far we could get in. I was like, I wonder what kind of information they need and
Yeah,
all this, right? And at a certain point, I just had enough, because I was like, I don't want to play the game anymore. And I just was telling people there's HIV in
There's
it,
some
and they're
serious-
like,
yeah.
so are you telling me I'm gonna get AIDS? And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just telling you.
I'm letting you
That's
know.
all. So it's still up to you to
Yeah.
do it. Go ahead at your own risk, but don't say you didn't know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it was like things like that I just felt so compelled. But you know, people even just so like with the vaccine, but the mask, like all of the things that they were saying were laws were not, right?
Yes.
So they
Yeah.
would get
Yes.
you on like trespassing
Right.
if you didn't wear a mask.
Well, and they just wanted to also divide this country.
Yes.
You know, I had the shelter, and I remember the city of Carlsbad calling me and saying, you have to vaccinate everybody in your shelter. And
my
I
gosh,
said,
right.
well, okay, you can send the fire department out here, they can set it all up, but I'm not mandatory making anybody take the vaccine. And so, you know, I said, if you want to take it, you can. Even people from the community came and they did it, whatever. It's up to you, you
Sure.
know? And when they came to me at the end, they're like, okay, it's your turn. And I just looked at them, I said, oh, no, I'm not doing that. And they looked at me, they're like, well, what do you mean? And I said, I just don't believe in that. Like, there's part of my soul that knows there's something wrong with it.
Yes.
And they just were like, oh. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't have to, you know? You
Right.
just basically vaccinated my whole shelter. Like, bye.
Yeah, they would pick people up off the street.
But I
when
was like, there's no way that's going in my body.
Heck
Like, I
no.
just knew, like, that, no, you know?
No, well, but people are confused because it's
Yeah.
all the vaccines. So
There's
it's
just
like
something about
it's
it.
not just COVID; it's
No.
every single one of them.
Yeah.
And that's the problem is that people are like, well, we've been taking them forever, and it's like, of course, because we've been indoctrinated to think
Since
it
we were
works, but
kids,
yet you'll still get the flu, and they're like, well, I mean, we keep doing it.
Right?
So from
Yeah.
I have 4 children,
Right.
and someone asked me an interesting question a few weeks ago and said, "Do any of your children are on the spectrum?" And I said, I would say no. She said, it's interesting that the percentage of children now that are on the spectrum is like 1 in 4. So
Oh,
it's interesting. And I said, well, for one thing, I questioned the vaccines. My first child was in 2007. I questioned the vaccines then. And
Just the
my-
childhood ones.
Yes, and my mother-in-law was a nurse at the time, and I trusted my doctor. And so you feel this societal pressure.
Huge pressure.
For sure.
And it's your first child, and all I know is, what my mom has taught me, and you don't think your parent. She's not lying to me, she knows what she knows.
This is
Sure.
what she knows.
Right,
Yes.
and that comes with anything when it comes to religion
Of
or
course.
what their beliefs
Yes.
are. We are,
Yes.
as
They're
soon as we're born, we're
limiting
indoctrinated.
Yes.
And so I went forward with my first, but I had them broken up. They weren't going to slam them.
I know
With
they want to give you
Boom, boom, boom,
It's crazy.
and boom, boom, boom. And each one has like 3 different vaccines,
Right, right.
It's not just one single
Right.
vaccine.
No,
It's
it's
third and my 4th, and I still had them broken up. My 4th child only has what I'm aware of is because they gave it to her when they first come out, and
Right.
I didn't get a chance to say
hepatitis.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that I don't want them. I don't
Right.
want you rubbing shit on their
Yeah,
eyes.
because they immediately do it unless
Oh,
you
yeah.
say something.
Right, and when you have
Protocol.
a trauma during birthing, you don't really get to say. So it's
Right.
we'll
They
move
just
into
do
the
it.
birthing
Yeah.
and being prepared as a mother. That's a whole nother episode. But I didn't have them hit like that because you trust, and so I feel like that had given me some.
Kind of comfort knowing that you didn't put it all
Right,
in there
because
at the
you
same
do
time.
see an uplift in these childhood issues. There
For
wasn't,
sure.
but I started doing the research on my 4th child, and they are using
Oh, it is disgusting.
it. I don't. It makes me sick
To
even
know
when I
what's
want.
in it.
Yes,
Yeah.
it makes me sick even when I think about it, and they come out with all these studies now that they're just now studies are coming out. Give me a fucking break.
I had
They-
both my oldest at home, which I was really fortunate. They're 24 and 22, and so I didn't have them vaccinated
And that's
until
how
they
most-
were 12.
Right. Well, and we should be
But
having
Hattie-
doulas.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have ever had
Yeah.
a child laying down.
Well, no, you have to move.
They want you to have C-sections now.
Of course, because they make a lot of money by C-sections. right?
Because you stay in longer.
Uh-huh. The
all
doctor
the
makes
people.
money. Oh, it's all
You
about
know,
money.
this lady though, she was like, I was tired of, watching births and so, like listening to it. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's like, what?
What?
And she's like, and all
She's
the
a birthing
screaming,
lady,
and
like
she's
she's
like, and now it's so easy to go in and come out with the baby, and I'm like,
No,
oh my gosh,
come
you're
on.
that's so bad. I was like, they need to go through the birth canal. They need all of that. That there's a reason why they go
There's-
through there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, and a 4'11" at 100 pounds. Well, I was 130 pounds. Should not giving birth to a
Did you
full.
have a C-section?
No.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Well, but it messed. But I had with my legs up.
Right,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
supposed to.
It-
Right.
They
It
wouldn't
messed.
let you move, huh?
It messed me up.
Yeah.
And when you're a woman and it messes you up, it messes you up here.
It does, mentally, emotionally.
A whole mess of things.
Yeah.
And so understanding that now, it really is another thing that I plan to deep dive into
Yeah.
at some point in my life is it's just all madness. And yes, the baby does need to come out of the birth canal, and the baby does need to be on the breast. And we shouldn't be putting women in positions that could hurt them.
Well, when you read about what's in the
Well, men are the ones doing the.
Right.
So then,
Right.
No,
Right.
I was going to talk about formula and how terrible it is for
Yeah.
you too, and it's unfortunate because some people can't breastfeed. I
Right.
understand.
It's
you know,
not easy
Right.
though, as a mother, that
Yeah.
you make, but nobody's talking about how it
You
is
can't
hard.
get
It's
it
a
right.
natural
Yeah.
thing,
And it
but
does
it's
hurt a
practice.
little bit.
Well, some
Yeah.
have tons, and they can
Yeah.
give you and everybody in the
My
like,
sister-in-law.
like
That's right.
school some, right? But then there's some people who can't. So it's not like it's just across
It's-
the board. That's
Right,
the
it's
way
not
it is.
easy.
So
It's not easy,
to
and so we
condemn
get
people, right.
discouraged as women. You
Live
do,
in
you
a
feel
world
bad.
of-
But back to the vaccination, so we keep going for her. Back to the vaccination. We're using aborted
yes,
Fetuses.
baby.
yes,
Yeah.
that's part of the satanic ritual. That's in all the.
Well, there's and then we can let's get into
But
that.
and we're using the same one,
In
but
the
it's about
food.
to
Oh, yeah.
deplete the same
Oh,
one
are
that
you
they
sure? Because
I
that's
don't
been
think so.
around
Right.
for decades.
1970s.
Well, they're finally
like,
finding
They
what
keep
DNA.
cloning it.
just right,
Oh.
right.
So
That's
it
what-
doesn't matter. That's why they're full of it. They'll be, that they're saying that because they
makes-
want people to believe, and it's a cancerous cell.
It makes me sick.
Yeah.
It makes me
Well,
want
you know, and I'm still amazed how so many people eat McDonald's when they know that there is like literally
Human.
humans in the meat. I mean, they have proved it, and I have to be honest. I drove by the other day and I really wanted some French fries.
Well, I think they.
And I thought to myself, I am never going back there again. Those French fries, that oil has human. Nope. And I didn't. I was proud of myself, you know, because I was brought up on Happy Meals, right? Like that was
Yeah.
the big thing, you know. But no, thank you.
I think
Every fast
they've
food restaurant.
they've what's the word called? On anything that we touch or use or consume, they have put some
Well, the
sort
natural flavor. That's babies.
of okay.
And you know what?
It's
Yeah, isn't that disgusting? And it's real.
They spray it above us in the sky. They're
Yes,
putting
they
it
do.
everywhere. But this is a satanic ritual that they're having us engage in
Correct.
willingly.
Correct. And this is the thing that I'm talking about, that people don't
You're right.
want to hear.
But it's-
I don't want to have to hear it.
But we
I don't have to talk about
and
it.
Of course
Me
we
neither.
don't.
I
but
wish
we have
had
to.
to talk about cupcakes and rainbows.
Because you know how many people don't believe it or they don't even know what's going on in their bubble. Like
And
they
we
really,
have to be careful, because I'm sensitive to
Yeah.
because I do want to attack. I feel like attacking people for being in the bubble.
and not attacking people, but
Right.
just like we have to open it up. We have to pop the bubble. We have to say,
Right.
hey, listen,
Right.
we literally have pedophiles and monsters. We have people that are running this country that are literally eating babies. They are drinking their blood. This is real shit.
And it's hard, especially for a mom that I have I'm close
not
with my
happy
mom,
about it.
and it's hard to have those conversations at that generation of people.
Oh, of
and
course,
it
yes.
really
The older people.
yes.
Yeah, my mom gets upset with me sometimes.
Yes.
And very
Just call me.
religious people.
Yes,
Oh, that's
yes, and bless their heart. My mom is a devout Catholic, and she's a saint to me.
Right.
She does her due diligence.
Could you
She-
talk to her about this? Like she would.
She gets very
Upset.
overwhelmed. My mom is like, I know, praying for me all the time. She's, I think, more worried about me and where I let this take.
For
me.
sure. For sure.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
she
because
has
it's
so
so
much.
dark.
It is
right.
dark.
But that's why you need the light in order to walk in the darkness. Because you're like, I'm good.
And
I'm
that's what
shuffling
I
it
said.
off because
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of you. You're evil
it
and
right
you're
there.
cowards. But we're going to expose it.
Right.
That's what we're supposed to do.
Right.
Ephesians 5:11.
And I said to
That's
her, "You always told me." It makes me upset. If I serve God's people, then I need not worry.
That's
Why
right.
don't you know that is how you raised me? So there's something in that
Well,
you,
and it
you
is
have to have
serving God.
confidence.
It is
Correct.
serving God.
So where's your faith in,
Right.
in God that has faith in me?
Sure.
And so that's where I get her. So but it stresses her out.
I think
I'm
it
sure-
stresses
But
so
it
many
stresses
people
me out.
because we've been lied to our whole lives, and then these
Correct.
other, our older parents, and But you're right. You got to acknowledge.
For
You
sure.
got to observe, and
Well-
you got to reject energetically.
Yes.
know,
Well,
and-
and not fall into the trap of it. But it's
Yes.
like we come from the Most High. That's who we serve. So
That's
it's
right.
like, there's nothing to be afraid of. The evil is afraid of God. But like, how old is your mom? Because I know my mother passed away in 2016, and
sorry.
she was technically my grandmother,
Uh-huh.
but so she was in her 90s.
Yeah.
Right.
But she was my religious, like, not overly, but it was like, I feel like I couldn't talk to her about, like, I never talked to her about any of this kind of stuff. And
Right.
I don't think she probably would have told me similar things, like, just like, why are you, some people go, don't worry about those things. And I'm not worried about them, but if people don't understand that this is Satan's playground and that we're on in a place where spiritual wickedness runs rampant, then it's like you can't really navigate it. You know what I mean? Like, because you're always going to be lost. You're going to fall into the traps all along the way, and it's like all we have to do is step away from that and go. It's just like all these boards and whoever. Like, you are powerless.
Yeah.
I don't need to hold you up on this pedestal, acting like I need to be the change.
Right.
And that takes me understanding where I'm at, whose I am, and where I came from and where I'm going. I don't belong in this place.
Right.
And so it's like, that's why God tells us these things. And I actually, the more I read the Bible, I'm still going through the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the more I read it, I feel like the church is totally confused about what it talks about.
Completely
honestly.
confused about it. And there's so many, there's books of the Bible that are left out too.
Yes.
Like I've been reading the Book of Enoch, and I
Oh,
just
yeah, that's
ordered
the
the
best.
encyclopedia, the Ethiopian
Yes.
Bible.
Yes, because that has the books.
I need it's important, you know, like learning about these fallen angels, learning what's going on.
It doesn't have to be scary, and it doesn't have to be.
They want it to be scary because that's what they feed off is our fear.
Right. And my mom is open to talking to me. Like, I'll have a conversation, but I don't go too deep because I don't. She doesn't need to be stressed out.
No, you
I
can't.
get it.
And
But you
she's
can
at,
plant
she's,
seeds, you know what I mean? Just
Yes,
give her
and-
dabbles, and then it's going to be up to the Lord
She-
to do whatever.
well, for me, I know she had a gift that she shut out, you know, and it's because that is scary
Right.
to people, and especially if you're religious. And so
Like
she's
intuitive, like
she's at the church all the time, so she
Yeah.
does Bible study. I just don't bring up certain, because I don't want to go there with her. She's 76, 77, 78. You know, like, I'm just
That's
leaving
like
it be.
my dad,
Leave her be.
Yeah.
Her heart is good,
And you know,
she
that's
does.
nice of you because she doesn't, you know, like my mom's like, she totally believes in all this. So we were driving the other day and she's like, at least one person in the family believes what I believe in, you know, because everybody in the
But
family
it doesn't serve purpose
But
if
it's
she
good.
does believe at her age and she's not sharing her opinion, her knowledge.
She's not on social media or anything like that.
Well,
But
with your
talking to
neighbor, we
people,
have to
she
start.
talks to people,
planting
but they always shut her down.
Well, does
Well,
your
then,
mom ever come to you? Does she ask you, or is it you telling her stuff?
seeds.
Is it part of you
She
going
has
to?
read that by, you know, I know she understands. It's just she sees what I talk about, or I start getting pissed off, and she was like, you know, she was like, can we just talk about something that doesn't have to do with. And I said, Mom, I'm just explaining to you what my passion is and where I'm going with a podcast, where my life has led me, and all of these things that have happened in my life had led me to now.
Yeah.
And I want you to understand, even as a child, I understand now
Right.
what all of that meant.
Right.
I'm gonna get emotional because it severely affected, as a child, the things that I was understanding or hearing. And then you shut that off, and that's like when I talk about repressed memories.
Yeah.
And all of these things just start
Flooding
flooding
back.
in, and I felt crazy.
Oh, yeah, because it's intense.
It's really intense. And
Because
I
you
have,
shut that door and then you don't realize like the water's been pushing up against it forever. And,
And
then
then you
as
have
soon
a-
as you open it, it's like
and you have for me, had a mental
Breakdown,
psychosis. And that's scary because then people start previewing you as that something, or
That's
you've
right.
done too many drugs, or you drank too much, or you took that one drop of that, mushrooms, that dose.
Yeah, you're just
Right.
Yeah.
And so it made me question my own self, and that sucks.
of course.
When you know, like I know who the fuck I am.
You're amazing.
And then when you question
yeah.
yourself and you're by yourself and going through it because you don't want to say
For sure.
out loud what you have remembered, because then you really look like a kook.
Well, and then it upsets other
It
people in your family, or they hear.
Well,
like,
and
maybe I don't know.
and that's
but,
because what I'm such a force in my family. Whatever happened to me affected, it rippled out
Right.
too,
Mine too.
and so they still. I
It
feel
always
like
does.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Feel like I still have scarred. They're not healed from whatever choices that came about that I did that made them feel affected their lives.
For sure.
And so, as back to bringing me everything that I understand now has led me to this point. And I don't think, I'm special, more special than anybody. I don't.
Why not? You are more special than people.
I
Come on, you are
understand.
so
I
special.
understand what I know and what I've been told, and it's hard to explain to people. Like, I just know.
For sure.
It's what you, if you want to call downloads from spirit, from God,
very
from my
conscious,
guardian
yeah,
angels. Information has been put into my brain from as a child up to now, and the synchronicities happen. And I think that it's not a coincidence. And I've been easily put in these positions that just happen to fall. And I understand that.
And you're listening, you know, you're following it.
And
you know,
I-
and the
and I-
guides, and really.
And I'm not trying. I am making connections that now are in the same. I call it. I have a job to do,
Yeah.
Yes.
and the
So
only
they do.
way that and the only way that we're going to beat this satanic, whatever you want to call it. Like I said, if you want to call it God, spirit,
Energy,
spirit,
all of it, yeah.
your guides, whatever. That is really what's happening. And collaborating with people who have the same job here
Yes.
is what I plan to do.
Yes. Well, and that's the thing. Like, we waste most of our life thinking. I mean, because we bought into their BS, right? That it's like you got to go to work and
thousands.
you go to school. This is when you get married and you have kids, and
Oh,
if you
and
don't, you're a
school, too.
loser. You know, you got to set up for retirement.
Right.
It's like just that hamster wheel to nowhere, and it's like that is not what life is about. But seriously, and I keep saying this is like my favorite saying, but people want to take the blue pill to pay rent. They're like, I got rent to pay.
But then
I would just and so it's like that's the whole problem is that you think you got rent to. Like, why are we living with it? This is totally BS, and everyone's always like, "Well, it's just the way it is. We just gotta
Right.
follow the rules." And stuff. I'm like, "Who made these fucking
Yeah,
rules?" I'm tired of this shit.
That's
I don't
what
want to
I
play this game
just
anymore.
said,
either.
who makes the rules? I made a podcast by myself, and that's the title.
Yeah.
Who makes these rules?
Yeah.
And the whole point of one of the main reasons, also, I was excited to have you on, is that people have, from just seeing you, from not knowing you at all, me being involved in county and city, and watching you, we put stigmas, we put our own perceptions onto people before we even met them.
For sure.
And I thought you were amazing. The way she's,
Yeah,
I think
I've
I
always
came up
thought you
and
were.
told you, I was like, I just love the way you speak, and I want to be able to speak like that in my own way. But from
And you do.
from people that are around me, automatically
They don't
have
like me.
It's not that they don't like you;
Oh,
they
I-
don't
I got
understand.
No, they
I got a
don't.
hate
But
group.
in that they don't like me. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
they
they
have a
don't
lot
know
more
you.
disdain,
Right.
kind of, and
Right.
so it's like because
It's-
they'll say stuff to me, and I'm like, "That's not true," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "You don't listen to anything I say." I
Correct.
said, "If you did, then you would know that that's not true."
Correct.
That's right.
And I had my children at the I think it was last year, and there was a hole where they had to stop the meeting, and it was
Was it because of me?
well, you had said something there was a group in there that they were black, and I don't know
Oh,
what you
right.
had said.
It was. I think it was during the Truth Act. Might have been
I don't remember.
because they get pissed. Yeah, and they wanted to fight.
And right, they did. And I don't know what was said or what interaction
The
happened.
group wanted to find.
Uh-huh.
It turned into like it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It shouldn't have been a racial.
It was like,
thing.
let's go outside, and then the sheriffs were like,
Oh,
Audrey,
wow.
just go inside. They were like trying to tell me, just
Right,
go
and
in.
I just they
room.
just automatically assumed that she was racist.
Yes,
Right, when
they
that's
do.
not at all what you're
And
coming out.
back around to our rights and Hispanics and illegal. Even my mom said, who was first generation Mexico, and she said I had to go through a process. My parents had to
Right.
go through a process,
Right.
and she is a Mexicana, and she said it is not okay. I didn't get any free. My parents did not get food stamps. My parents didn't get any of these things. They followed what the line and did what they were supposed to do, so that we followed a process.
Yeah.
And these people should have too. I don't care that they're Mexicano or not.
But they weren't. I mean, there's plenty here
Right.
that have been here for 30 years, right? But
Right.
it's like the people that were coming across here,
Right,
they were
and that's-
not Mexican.
Right,
they're
no,
just
They were
Oh.
being sent back. I'm
Yeah.
serious.
No, yeah.
And so I was trying to tell people that, and I'm like,
It's-
you're not listening to even what I'm saying
Correct.
because I'm mad at these politicians for incentivizing
Correct.
you where you're getting
Correct.
raped and murdered along the way, and they're making a whole lot of money of you coming in. And
A lot of
now
money, that's
they're
right.
like, they're making money on them going out. I was like, well, you didn't seem to care about Core Civic when they were transporting them and raping them then,
Right.
but now
Right.
you care. And I was like, that's the problem. And you think I'm a bigot and then I'm racist.
Right.
And I was like, I was actually standing up for them. It was the NGOs when I'd go and
Right.
meet with them that they would tell them, put on a mask, don't talk to them, because I had an American flag on my car, right? And they're like, oh my gosh, that's so telling. I'm all, we're in America.
We're
It's
in
like,
America,
I
right.
get, it's like I have a
Right.
Chinese flag on. And you're like, where are you coming from? And it's like,
Right.
they were saying they were new Americans. And I'm like, well, first of all, that's not true either.
Right.
And I'm like, and I don't think we should be spending this much money on them when we can't even help our own. That's what's
Correct.
pissing me off. And it's like,
Right.
and now they've spun it to be a Mexican thing. And I'm like,
Right.
what a great bait and switch.
Right.
To act like they're going and getting the illegals, right? And they're going after the Mexicans that have been here for 30 years. Like Trump, I feel like that's what he's doing to make it seem like he's taking care of it. I'm like, I'm talking about the Russians.
Yeah.
The Muslim soldier, I found his dog tag down in San Ysidro at Dairy Mart Road at the outdoor detention site and called Whiskey 8. And it's like, nobody cared about that. Nobody cared about all the documents. I'm like, how about we collect this and look and see who's coming in here? Because
Right.
these people are dropping these because they're being told to. They have locations where they're going in Jacumba or Boulevard or wherever, right? And it's like, this is very well organized. You don't just,
Yeah.
and
Right.
most of them, no, they weren't seeking asylum. I met one dude out of thousands that it's like, he was like, he was afraid and he was gay and he was like, I can't go back to my country. And I can't
Right.
remember if it was Venezuela, something like that. But he
Right.
was like, please take me out of here. And I'm like, buddy, I can't. You gotta wait.
Yeah.
I will get in trouble for
Right.
trafficking you if I do that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so you need to wait here. And it's like, they would have to wait for some days at a time. And people, I'm like, or what about the unaccompanied alien children? Finding that.
There's
Oh.
Thousands of them in the convention
Thousands.
center. And they're like, we found their homes. And or their sponsors. Bullshit. You traffic those kids.
That's
And I'm
right.
like, and you continue to do it. That's why even that illegal, like, I don't intentionally say that, but the legal or immigrant legal defense fund or
Right.
whatever I call it, the illegal
Yeah.
immigrant defense fund.
Yeah,
Whatever it is.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
But they were talking about using that for unaccompanied minors. And I'm like, see, you guys still have them here? What the fuck
Is
are
there
you
any
doing?
oversight of where that money
Right.
went? And yeah, where are these kids and where did
Exactly,
they go?
but they've gone into the foster system. Like,
It's
they
so
did.
That's even scarier, too.
intertwined and so weaved that we don't even, as people that are trying to research this, don't even. You're sending out into fucking never ending. I have
it
to
doesn't
stop.
end.
Right,
No,
I
because
have
it
to.
doesn't.
Right, and I have to
You
stop
have to,
sometimes
yes, you have to physically stop. It
because
doesn't.
I'm like, what the
Yes.
fuck
Yes.
is happening? And this is another, like I said.
Yeah.
She's automatically, I don't want to say you're automatically labeled, like, it's,
Oh, but for sure.
when we have our certain meetings that we meet with people, it
I
was
mean,
at
I've
first,
seen you a few times. I mean, I've definitely watched you over the years.
and I
you know,
finally
and
had to tell, like, you know, when we have our meetings, I'm like, you guys got it all wrong. It's just because
Yeah.
it feels disruptive to people.
Sure.
No, because
It feels like
it's the right thing
Disrespectful.
to, and it's not. It's the right thing to do to
It's like
show up.
KPBS though will write hit pieces on how we talk to them, and I'm like, I've been beat up by a sheriff.
And we're gonna go there too. We're gonna go there too.
I'm like, so, and they don't respect us. They are
We're
not good stewards of our money. So I was
No.
like, they don't. I was respectful in the beginning, and they lost it like that.
Correct.
So it's like,
Yeah.
and you don't respect people that are destroying your life.
No,
You don't hold them up on a pedestal. You go, that is enough.
absolutely.
We're not going to let you do this anymore. You don't represent me or my community.
Correct.
You
Right.
don't give a shit.
That's right.
Right.
You keep asking for more money, and you want me to be on my knees. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm already there.
Well,
Yeah.
right, and that's the thing. What people have not been or done the research on what truth is,
Right.
and so all they know is what they know,
What
and
they're being sold.
right,
And
and,
people
and
believe in it. People are just crazy how what they believe.
and you know, I just in the last like couple months, people that I've interacted with that go to these meetings that I deal with have now seen, and that's why I wanted to have you on, a completely different of what their mind has built this story up
Yes.
about who you are.
Yeah.
And so I really wanted to put you out that
I appreciate
what
it.
people think when they first come in, like my kids in there, when I brought them in, that whole
Right.
thing had happened, and they're like, what did she say? Is she racist? And I'm like, hell no, you know?
But
Yeah.
it,
But it automatically,
They want to make you
that's
look
where
that way.
it's
Because you're-
portrayed
you're-
as. Yeah.
right, because you have a fair skin, you know, and you have
Big
colored hair,
voice.
and you have your white.
And I'm
your-
native. Like,
Well, I'm
Yeah,
right,
right.
and I've never, if you really have watched you've never said anything that was
No.
racist.
mm-mm.
You're
'Cause
a
they're
true-
not
honestly,
listening.
You're a truth
Correct.
teller.
They're not
Correct.
listening, and
And
so they
we-
misinterpret what I'm
Correct.
saying, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you guys
Correct.
don't listen. So don't even. I'm not even going to have this conversation because
Correct.
you're telling me something that isn't true. But I am finding there's more people that come around, but it takes years because it's like
Take
for real.
years.
It's been a
It's
year
been a year,
where it was like,
yeah.
you know, just some people, but then you'll hear it's like nobody wanted to own that they felt like I was doing a good job or, you know, that they
Right.
appreciated it. And now it's like people are kind of like, yeah, she goes up there and gives them a hard time, but they're like, what she's saying is true. You know what I mean?
That's-
so it's like,
yes,
then
I said that,
at
yes.
that point, then
I
they're
did say
like,
that.
oh, and they start to see me different. And so they're like, okay, but like when you have KPBS coming in, because Tara pays them off and she's like, oh my gosh, they're just so horrible. And they're like, so the way they talk to us, I'm so scared. And I'm like,
Oh, get it together.
what?
You're
the
a
way
leader.
you talk to
Yeah.
us? I'm like,
And you're not
Then
supposed
you
to be
shouldn't
a
be up
scared.
on
You
that.
should be a
yes,
leader.
you're
Right.
a public official.
Yeah, get it together
And
already.
it's like, and nobody's following you around. Nobody's her. I mean, I do give her a hard time, but I think she
Good.
likes
You
know
it.
what?
She
It's okay
likes
that
me
you
in a
hear
weird
her.
way.
Yeah,
she
she
does.
does.
I mean, I
Because
say
you're a
some
challenge.
crazy stuff to
You're
her.
a challenge. And
Yeah.
people
Right.
either like
Yes,
that or,
or
they
don't.
don't. And last year I did say, I said, you may not like what they or how they're
to Tara.
to the whole
the
in
whole
the
county.
county. I said these
I remember. that.
they are. You may not like the way they say it, but everything that they say is true.
Mhm.
And
And,
they're not here to.
what's changing? What are you guys doing to change anything? You know, it's
Right.
like,
Well,
come
that's
on.
why I want people. And people would always go, "Well, why are you going? They're not changing." I'm like, I'm not expecting them to. I thought in the beginning when I was
You just said that
misled,
the other day.
yeah,
Actually,
I was like,
You're
I mean, I went in and I was like, oh my gosh, they're going to totally change. So you just go and talk to them. I had no idea. I was totally ignorant.
That's what happens,
And that's
and then
why
you
when people
realize.
say everything is political, but everything is also religious. Not religious, but spiritual.
right.
So it's like you have to have both of it, and it's only political because it's like that goes into everything, just like the spiritual does. So it's
Yeah.
like they're the ones doing it, facilitate. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like entrenched in everything, but. I go because I want the people to see.
That's
like
right.
I need them to see how
The
they're reacting
community,
to me
yeah.
too. Because it's like, what I'm telling you, prove me wrong. You're the ones that are handing me everything. I had a very quick education. I didn't know jack shit
Right.
before I went there, and now I know everything the county's doing, when they're doing it. I can see it coming down the pike. I'm like, oh my gosh, with this behavioral health stuff. I'm like, you guys have been bringing this
Oh,
in. It's been
gosh.
so terrifying. I knew that these mobile medical units would be here forever once you brought them in. Like all this stuff. And so I'm like, you can almost be psychic or know what they're doing, right? And what's
Right.
going to come. But it allows you to not be afraid. But they're so
Correct.
good at selling you
Yeah, they are.
on,
This-
with their presentations and their documents.
All their
So it's like, I'm like, it sounds fantastic what you guys are playing here.
Right.
Because it does. I'm like,
Right.
affordable housing, or like these kids are going to be in this shelter.
Right.
It's going to be, we're going to help so many of them. And then I'm like, but when you see the reality of what they're doing, you have to expose that. So again, it's only planting seeds much of the time, right?
Right.
So, but me saying and going against that, like I had a man, I need to call him later because he called me. He was sitting there yesterday and was talking about the shelters, the Troy shelters in Lemon Grove, right?
Okay.
And he was like,
yeah.
are people going to be coming
That's
to
where
that?
I was.
Whatever. And he's like, well, what do you? So he started to ask me, and I thought it's funny because people don't know if I'm left or right, and I'm neither, right?
Right.
But they think
Yeah,
I'm left
yeah,
much of the time.
Right.
But they also think I'm right. But if I go into the Trump arena, they're like, she's a lefty. I don't know if
Right,
you should
right.
talk
It's
to
so
her.
stupid.
And then they'll be like, wait a minute, I'm
It's
totally
bizarre.
I'm just
was
human, and I'm-
misled by what you look like, right? But then the left hates me, so it's funny because I'm like, but I can fit in until someone calls me out, and then they're like, oh my gosh, don't talk to her. She's totally against it. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm even
No,
here just
I'm just
documenting.
human. Right.
Like
Yeah.
even with my phone, I'm like, I'm just being a journalist. Like right now, I'm not even putting my
Journalist,
own
yes.
my
Yes.
own
An investigative
point into
journalist.
this.
And that's
Like,
right. When I
Yeah.
did the research, so I
Yeah, no.
did some research on you know, before today, and it has you labeled or out there
Right.
in the web as a journalist.
Nice.
What brought you to become a? Because the acting thing I think is really interesting, and you should be able to talk about those things, especially if they brought you joy. I think we forget about
it didn't
What?
till it didn't.
right.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
it helps you probably get in front of people though and really know.
Oh,
how to-
absolutely. Yeah, that's why
Yeah,
I'm
I
like, I
didn't
love.
know that.
But
at
that
all.
was all part of my journey, right?
Right.
I needed to go through that, and
To
I
get
always
here.
enjoyed it. Like
Yes.
I thought it was fun, but I spent 8 years of my life paralyzed and in
That's
a
where I
wheelchair.
wanted to
so
go.
it's like I actually had to leave acting
wanted to
because
go
I
there.
got sick and I have MS.
Oh.
And I had a spinal tap because they were looking for it in my spine and it wound up paralyzing me.
Because of the spinal.
8
Yeah,
years.
I kept hearing my nerves in my spine. I'm like,
Oh,
that
that's so
hurts. And he's like, no, it's fine. And I'm like, sir, oh my gosh, that really hurt. And after the third time when he finished, he's like, oh, whoops, I was using the wrong size
I just
needle.
got
And
this-
I'm like, son of a bitch, but I was so sick at the time. I didn't know. I didn't know
Yeah.
nothing about going and
And of
I'm just
course,
like,
again, when
I'm
you're listening-
paralyzed. Like,
Oh.
but it didn't happen until I went home. So I'm like laying in this bed after he's done. It was painful, but then I felt like I'm on the car ride home, and it felt like I pulled my pants down. But it was the feeling leaving, and I was like, oh my gosh, and I'm like, my legs are cold, I can feel
Epidural.
them. Yes, and so I tell people, I'm like, don't fucking get that shit. I was
When
Doctor
you're
stuff.
different
cancer,
things, or if
yeah.
you're in the hospital or something
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
This is the thing, all of those things that she's saying after I had epidural, I could only feel one side.
Yeah, you're
when I
lucky
was
it came back.
well, and during the pregnancy, during labor, I'm like, how come I can feel one side and I can't feel other? And this is the same time where, you know, it broke my son's, they broke his collarbone.
Oh, shoot.
They pushed on because he was stuck. He was a 7-pound something baby
And you're
with my,
tiny,
in 4'11", trying to push out a regular sized baby. I ended up with a hernia. I mean, it
I'm not
really is.
laughing at all. 'cause
It's,
that
can
was
you imagine
terrible.
that head?
Yes,
It-
right? Oh my God.
that's a whole nother episode. But the
About the baby's head coming out, and
Yes.
that is an episode
I
itself.
mean, it messed with my brain. But
I bet.
the hernia afterwards, I got shingles afterwards.
Oh.
Pain pills,
Sorry.
pain
Yes,
pills,
pain
pain
pills,
pills,
pain
pain
pills.
pills. I've never been addicted to anything. Pain pills, pain pills.
Yeah.
Zoloft, lorazepam. Then they want to put me on gabapentin.
Mhm.
I'm taking all these things without
Yes.
by myself because I'm going to get through this and I don't want to bother anybody else. All of these things, and then the lawsuits come out with addiction, and they cut me off.
Yeah, well, so what
Yeah, they
year
started
was
doing
that? Because
that.
that's what I'm trying to think of. Like,
2015,
Yeah.
16,
so, like,
2000.
that's when they started doing that stuff where, I mean, it was like
Yeah,
a couple of years, like, so,
16.
and then they took them away, though. It was like they made you sign for them,
You have
and
to
then they
still
said
sign
you
for
have
them.
to
They
go
just
to
cut
a
me
pain
off.
specialist.
right.
Yeah.
And they went.
And they wanted to put a baclofen pump.
What's
And
that?
it's like, it was like a hockey puck that you had. And I was like, what the
With
fuck?
pain stuff that I just
no,
get.
baclofen is, I mean, it's for nerve pain, but I was like, I already
Right.
take that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and I'm already
You don't
still
need
gonna
more.
be in pain. So that was the problem. I was like, I'm always gonna be in pain.
Yeah.
I'm still
that's
in
what
pain all the
shingles
time.
feels like. If anybody wants to, and I went to a doctor. I had to go to a clinic at this point, the tribal clinic, and he scared me by saying I'd never seen anybody with shingles your age unless they had HIV.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
And I was all
Which
bleh.
HIV is totally.
And I'm
It
like,
is
who says that?
manufactured.
Yeah.
Who
that's
says that?
disgusting.
And he was like, do you have multiple? I was like, no, I have I have a husband that I've been married to for 15 years. It was just bizarre, but that's when they gave me gabapentin. But after they cut all of that off, I was sick as fuck.
Oh yeah.
Sick.
sure.
Where I'm I am looking for anybody
Yes, that's why
to
they
get
did it.
me. To get me,
Absolutely.
and I got strips from someone that I had worked with.
Work
that was
test
a heroin.
strips?
No, that was a ex-heroin addict.
Like fentanyl
Uh,
strips?
No, it's called and I used to cut them up in squares. And
Oh, it's,
from being sick. Not no.
I know.
I'm
what
gonna
you're
think
talking
about it.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, I know.
I'll remember.
But you had to find that.
Suboxone.
Suboxone,
Yeah.
And luckily, I got some Suboxone, and I cut them up from being sick.
Because you were sick. And you
Sick.
Just, yeah.
But it does. It makes you sick. Like when I
From
was on
when I was
100
cut off,
pills a
sick,
day. Yeah.
sick.
No, it's real.
I did cut myself off though, so like
Yeah.
they did with the pain pills, but I had already started weaning off because I was like, I would just, once I didn't have any more coming in, I was like, okay, I'm gonna save these in case something
Right.
happens.
Right.
Then I can use it
Yeah.
if I'm like in dire need.
Mhm.
I'm like, but I'm still in pain no matter how much they
Correct.
keep giving you, and I'm like,
Correct.
but they did it on intention because that's when the fentanyl went out into the streets. So you cut people off, and boom, where are they going to go? Out into the streets because they need a fix. And it was
Right.
like, I didn't need the fix. I was just always in pain, but I was concerned because like I was taking other meds for my
Right.
MS. I
Right.
was giving myself
All
an
this stuff.
injection
Oh.
every day.
It's a nerve-ending pain. That's
Yes.
how I describe shingles. That they can't
Nerve pain
censor.
fucking sucks. Yeah.
Right. They can't censor. It's like your leg being asleep, halfway awake,
Yes.
tingling.
Yes.
That is.
I get that all the time anyway.
It can mentally. It can mentally fuck
Yeah.
with you.
Oh yeah.
And
I
so
feel
It's
down.
hard to deal with.
it really is.
Yeah.
It really, really is. And I was doing all these things, and it really is. This is a game
Yes.
that they've fucked with
Yes.
people's lives. And back to how injury wise, I didn't know that you had been attacked. Well, I knew you'd been
At
attacked.
the supervisors.
Yes.
After I
our-
started walking too, I was like,
Correct.
so, how cool is that? I was
So-
like, I was stoked. I was doing really well, like
Yeah.
feeling really good. I was, and
8
then,
years of paralysis,
yes,
right?
yes,
Where you
and
couldn't
now it's, I think this year. Wait, what? Yeah,
She didn't walk.
is 8 years of walking again. So it's kind of
Okay,
interesting to look at that 16-year span. It seemed like forever in my chair,
Mhm.
and I feel like walking now has kind of gone real quick. Like it's not because I'm not. You're not like sitting there
you're
waiting
not
for something to
focusing,
end.
right,
You know what I mean?
right.
You're just kind of free. Although it's been 4 years since I've been assaulted, so half of that
So
time
you
I
were
spent
assaulted by
At the
using
county?
a cane.
For talking
Yes.
at the county.
by
A
a
sheriff
sheriff?
deputy. Yes,
For
and he
talking?
is extremely proud of what he has done.
And
he's
he's
told
still
me
the
you're
sheriff?
welcome. He is a sheriff. He's a deputy. The interim sheriff at the time was Anthony Ray before Kelly got in, and he was sitting in the room. It was during one of the truth acts where they talk about the immigrants
Yeah.
and their sharing of their data and stuff like that. And I didn't know that at that time. I wasn't really too privy to that. I wasn't.
Mhm.
I didn't really understand what that was for, and so I'm like, I don't know. But the room was packed because of it. So it was like they split the meeting. It was like a morning meeting. We were talking about stuff about COVID. Nathan Fletcher and I would always go at it. He had me arrested all the times.
Really?
Yeah, and he loved it. I mean, they tried to say I burnt his house down. They tried to. My name was going around the police department, and the news.
Well, you made it easy for
insinuated
them.
Then I'm like, I
to
don't even know where he
scapegoat.
lives, and if
Right.
I did, that is a. I mean,
I wouldn't waste
there
my
wouldn't
time
be a
going to
house.
yeah,
I mean, no, but it's like there was
Yeah.
cosmetic damage in the front. He did it.
I bet.
And no, he did.
He had his own
There
issues.
He
has
totally
to-
did. It was
Come
like
on.
yes. But they were totally acting. Oh my gosh! Thank God we're okay. Our kids weren't here. Thank God.
Oh, I remember this. I
how
I
remember
feel like
coincidence
there's
down.
still,
That's
there's
right,
still,
that's right.
though, you
Oh, they're
know,
still
why-
playing their game.
Right.
He's like a
acting-
rancher now.
Now, well, he's
Well,
he's
and
a
there's-
lobbyist.
And there's the wife
Union.
seems to be having these.
He doesn't live around here though. He
you
lives in
know,
Colorado.
Like fights in the
Oh, she always does.
with another woman,
Tit
and
for
I
tat,
don't
yes.
even know. But I'm like,
I can't
is
remember
it
who it
kind
was.
of as another journalist?
Yes, something,
type-
and I can't remember who it was. But
'Cause I
she
did-
does that.
Yeah, I'm like, what are we doing? Embarrassing.
Yes.
I'd be embarrassed if I had
But
children.
they're leaders. That's why I'm
I-
like. That's why
I
people have
know.
to see them for who they are. Because
I
it's like,
know.
quit holding them up like they're someone different than
It's-
you're. No different
right.
than them.
No,
Right.
just a
Okay?
human. Yeah.
They're just taking advantage of you.
Mhm.
Right.
That's how you're different. I mean, because they do super nefarious things.
Right,
but-
they've acted enough to get their job in the spotlight of
Yes.
being a political
Yes.
person that controls, like doing the finger thing, how we live our lives.
Oh yeah.
What, I don't think we got to the question, what brought you to do this?
The activist. Right. Okay. So.
Right, the activist part,
when I
especially
started-
when it comes to children.
Okay, so that comes from me as a child and being, like trafficked to a babysitter for 9 years, being sexually assaulted from the
Sorry.
time I was a
Yeah.
baby in diapers till I was 9 when I left. And so for me, I have compassion for the children. So
Of course.
I look at that as, I can relate to them.
Yeah.
And when I was about 12, because I had left at 10, because my dad had said that my brother and I didn't need a babysitter anymore. We could go walk, because we had a school right down the street, and we had to go to the babysitter and go to a different school. So it was like when we were in 5th grade, we were able to go and not have to go there anymore.
Right.
So it was like a lifesaver because I'm
Correct.
like, oh my gosh. Well, then my dad gets married, and this man is his photographer, and he totally looks like a pedophile. His name's Bert Dickerson. He was my babysitter's son. He was, but I believe he was a victim because
Correct.
His
he
dad
was
probably.
10 years older
Yeah.
than me. It could
Or-
have been, I
or
don't know,
somebody.
his dad.
Right.
Yeah.
Just someone,
Yeah.
and it could have been a woman even because he
Right.
wasn't gay.
Correct, right.
He had a girlfriend, and so the last time he did it, he was 19, but he started at 10. So it's like, that's just, that's a victimizing others.
Yeah.
And so that's sad for me to think about, but it's like when he was still doing it at the end, he had a girlfriend. So it's like, that's just what's so gross. It's like, how can you, whatever. But again, and he looks like a pedophile. Many of
Yeah.
them don't. You would, I mean, they're men and so you would never know.
So many.
And so, but
people.
some of them
Yeah.
just do. He looks like a Unabomber kind of thing, where
Yeah,
you're just
yeah.
like, oh yeah, you have this.
The energy, you can just tell.
Yes.
There's something off.
And so when I was 12, I went and lived with my biological mother. She left when I was 2, and so we never had a relationship.
Yeah.
But my dad got remarried, and I'm like, I'm going to live with Donna. And so
Donna?
and then I
Mom,
was like,
mom.
I wanted to leave. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
call her that, but her mother was my mom.
Okay.
But so I went to live with her, and I feel like it was a good like there's always purpose in everything, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
I didn't want to be there when I got there, but this is how it came out to the light, is because we were watching, I had repressed it for
Right,
years,
yeah,
right? So, but he was the photographer at my dad's wedding. Let me go back to that real quick.
Yeah.
So this was
Oh.
like a year after I had left there, and it was like, then he's in my house, and I'm like terrified, thinking like, oh my gosh, now you're in my like safe zone. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like, I just remember being like horrified that he was there, and it
Did
just
you,
brought
were
all
they
this stuff.
repressed from,
But
like
it was
you-
still repressed
they
from
were still
there. Like
repressed,
it was
but
like
it just made you feel a
yeah, it
certain
was
way?
very sick from him being there, but it wasn't like it fully came
Right.
back out. It was like I because when I was about 5, I told my dad.
Oh.
I like we had this like foyer, and I remember sitting there for like ever. I don't know. It could have been 20 minutes. It could have been an hour. Probably was like 5
Right,
minutes.
you were 5, so yeah, it was a big deal.
It seemed like forever, but
Yeah.
so I mustered up the courage to say, Bert touches me. And then he goes, what? And I was like, nothing, never mind. I know he heard me, but it was also like he didn't know what to do with it, right? And so I just was like, you don't tell, I mean, I'm not going to tell him it was, you know.
Yeah.
And I used to have nightmares of the basement where his room was, and where he would, it was crazy because I didn't understand why I had those nightmares.
Right.
And then I was like, oh my gosh, that's why the basement is in my nightmare. And it would be
Right.
like a reoccurring nightmare of this black pit that was trying to pull me into like the pits of hell, because there was like
Right.
this square tile area, and that was like in my dream where it was like Count Dracula
Like the
was
step
trying,
down
yeah, I don't
back
know,
in
it
the
was
seven-
freaking
you
weird.
know?
I was like, oh my gosh, why is it trying
Is
to
the
pull
set
me
down,
into the
the
dark?
set down
Yes.
in the den,
Oh,
like,
yes.
sitting area?
Oh, so and then so when I was 12, we were watching this movie about this teacher who, and I almost like to go and see if it still exists, but it was like Sydney and Sudi, I don't know, something like that.
Uh-huh.
And it was a teacher that would pay his students to jerk him off. So it's
Oh,
like,
wow.
why are we watching this for 5 nights?
Right, you're like, excuse
Wait,
me,
oh,
what is
so it's
going
not,
on?
it wasn't a regular movie.
It doesn't seem appropriate.
I don't know why, but it was like,
Yeah.
it had to happen because I got, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta tell you something. Well, Donna had been raped when she was a teenager
Uh-huh.
by 2 men. So she was 16 at the time, and was supposed to go on a double date with her friend. These guys came and picked her up, never went to pick up her friend, took her to like a parking lot or somewhere, raped her and brought her home.
No.
Like,
Wow.
here you go, have
Yeah.
a good evening.
There's
It's
our-
like,
there it is.
but so
Dude.
because she had been through that, it wasn't like it fell upon deaf ears. Like, and she could see how upset I was. It's like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. So
Yeah.
I guess she called the police, and so I had
Good
to go
for
down
her.
to the
I
police
mean,
station. No,
right.
for sure.
Yeah.
Even though, you know, the end didn't happen the way I thought, but it still made a record. It brought it out. He does have to register as a sex offender, even though he's not current.
Right.
But he never was punished. So anyway, when I was 12, I went, and they wanted me to call him and get him to admit it. And I still think about that. I'm like, what? And I'm like, maybe that's why I feel like I can speak, because it's like,
Yeah.
I was shit, like terrified.
12.
And I know his
Yeah.
mom, like his mother was like a second mom to, or just a
Right.
mother,
Right.
you know, like I didn't have that, and I was at her house every day, so it was like, you know, I didn't
Pretty
want
hard
to
to call.
upset her.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Right.
so I knew she was going to answer too when I called. So it was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to say? And she did, and it was really loud, and so she didn't hear my voice. Is what another thing is hearing
Right.
my voice, and just went and got her son Bert, and I'm like, oh thank God. But the police were like, okay, if once you get the information, you need to just hang up and say, my friend's coming back from the shower, I gotta go. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, well that's weird,
A
but
shower.
I guess, like,
Okay.
whatever. Like, why am I at my friend's house?
Why are they
calling
in the
you?
shower?
Like, asking you these things. And I remember
But
at
still.
first, he was like, I wouldn't do that to you. You're like a sister to me. And then I was like, yeah, exactly. That's why
Yeah.
it's a problem. And he was like, if you say so, I did. And I'm like, what the fuck? Oh my gosh. So I'm like, okay, well, my friend is coming out of the shower. I gotta go. And so, because I'm like, I don't want to talk to him anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and I
Of course
remember I was
not.
like smacking my gum.
Yeah.
As a kid, I was like, you could hear it in the thing. I'm like, oh, I guess I probably should have spit out my gun. Anyway, so we went to court, and the judge was like, you know, and mind you, when we went, his mother was saying that I ruined
Of course.
their family.
course.
And I didn't know that until later. I talked to that, I was a pen pal with that woman until I was like 19 or something.
Uh-huh.
I felt like I had Stockholm syndrome, because in the letter to the courts, I was like, most of it was about not wanting her to be mad at me.
Yeah.
I didn't want her to, you know, think that I was like doing something intentionally to him.
Of course,
You know?
because that was like someone who really.
For sure, but it's like, so I that brainwashing part, it's like, because you get so mentally fucked,
Right.
But so I told him, they said, what do you think what should happen? I said, he should go to jail for a year, because at 12, I was like, that's a really
That's a
long
lot,
time.
right?
So I'm like, okay. And the judge said, no, I feel like he would be worse off. And I'm like, oh my gosh, well, I mean, he would be taken care of as a pedophile, but
Right.
I have to deal with this for the rest of my
For
life.
the rest of
Yeah.
your life.
And it's like, so what do you mean worse off? And so, and he continued to do it, because I had friends that were were in the same area and knew that when he was in high school, which I still feel like is weird. I mean, because he was 19, so I don't know if maybe he was still in high school at that time. But anyway, they just knew that something had transpired with a sexual assault
Yeah.
and a child. They didn't know it was me. But that he was still continuing to sleep with younger girls, although it went to like 12-year-olds. So as he got older, so it's like it never stopped. And I'm like, I feel like that judge was probably a pedophile,
Yeah.
Yes,
protecting
yes.
him, right?
And
Absolutely.
when it comes, and so this is where I praise you, and when it comes to being an adult and the responsibility we have, for one, she should have never put that on you,
No.
that mother.
Right.
And as an adult, we understand how our children look at us, and if she understood that, she would have never put that on
Well,
you.
it's like, you should be ashamed of your son.
Yes.
How
Absolutely.
dare you?
And then so she put that on you.
Yes. Like,
As
that
a
was
child.
my fault.
Yes. And
100%.
it's
And that's what
disgusting.
happens a lot of times. That's why.
That's why
everybody
people
gets-
don't report it,
Yeah.
though.
Because of the shame, and we feel
Right.
like guilty
And
for something that we didn't do.
And so what you're doing, as I perceive it, is that you're holding these adults
Yes.
when we're going, leading into this mother and these two children. You're holding
Yes.
people responsible that later down the line, these kids will still have to have the aftermath.
Mhm.
And then you decided that in your authority that you sit here up on this pedestal and think you are giving the best advice or the best outcome for a child that you have no relation to, no emotional connection to, because they separate
It's all about
themselves.
money, too.
Correct. And the fact that that's another reason how I got to know her. I came to one of her cases. Evelyn is a mother that has two children that have been taken
No. Okay.
from their mother.
CPS.
Yes. And I had listened to them in
Do they
county
still
one day.
have them? They still have CPS.
This is recent.
Parental
This
rights,
is
yeah.
really
Oh.
recent. This is this week, a couple weeks
Yeah, a
ago.
couple weeks.
But I think it's been a 6-7 months when I came to the courthouse to
Right.
testify.
That's when they were doing the termination of reunification.
And
Can she appeal?
We are.
Okay, good. Okay.
But this is the thing. So I had stopped her when I really started speaking to, and asking her questions. She was there with Evelyn at the county and was saying, "I have postpartum depression. You are punishing me for something that I didn't have control of. I didn't hurt my children." She never hurt her children. She never put them in danger. When you're in postpartum depression, you're in fight or flight mode.
So somebody
is
just
for a fact.
called on her and they came.
Well,
in.
no, her and the dad were arguing. They were unstable in their housing, so they're moving from hotel to
And
hotel.
me and my
Survival
husband did
mode.
that.
And
That's
just,
just
you're
recently.
arguing. They had a
Just-
couple of
right.
kids,
Yeah.
and she's got so they have all these things, and they're not helping you like get stability.
Absolutely,
No.
they're
But
not.
because they were in a hotel, the police get called. Then so they also call CPS. So, but they never intended to take the kids until she took them to Missouri. So it was like
I see.
they open the case under domestic violence, have them do parenting classes and all these things, right?
Right,
Then they
right.
tell her she can go live in Tijuana with her family, like, because she was adopted, brought over here, more like trafficked, whatever. I don't
Right,
even know where
right.
the documentation is for that, or her birth certificate.
Right.
But it's like, so she's told she can go live in a different
Interesting.
country.
Right.
Interesting.
And so she goes to Missouri, and they said that she kidnapped her children and put a warrant out. Said that the marshals, the border patrol, like the police, like all of these, they're looking for you. And even if we get you and you don't have the kids, we'll hold you until you give us where they're at. And it's like, but you never intended to take them for domestic violence, right? So all along the way, they like change what they're doing. It doesn't stay consistent.
And she can go to Mexico with them.
She could have, but because she went to a different state,
That
they
was-
took the kids.
It's so weird that out of all the things and all the money that is spent on specific,
The system is set up to take
I mean,
people's kids.
wow, that's a lot of money to be put
Title IV funding.
in just Evelyn
That,
and
right? Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
what the fuck?
Right.
Don't we have much bigger
But that's
things
crazy. And then they literally didn't even give back to her. They
and
like,
No,
they
no, they've
No,
yeah, and
this
then
is still current right now.
yeah. Well, they
happening.
just terminated her rights, so she's having some last visits.
It's sad, and she has video. I mean, of these children. It
How
makes
old are they?
3 and 4. Well, they'll be 3 and 5, but
they're screaming for
So
their mother.
traumatic for them.
How anybody can sit up there on that diet, like,
This is
and
not okay.
no,
Is she a
because
lawyer? You're helping her?
well, that's the thing. They give you it's like a public defender that are
Mhm.
useless because they're paid to sit there and do jack shit. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
he
She's
was
like
a- he
public defenders because the DA's over them. Like, you want to fucking
Yeah.
he was kind of a tool, and he's an older guy, like an older white man.
the judge.
No,
Oh.
when I went to go meet at the courthouse.
Oh
to
yeah,
stand
the attorney. I'm sorry. Yeah, now
Yeah.
she has a new one because he retired after that. That was so weird. So like after they terminate reunification, and they said they were doing that because, and see how it changes. Not because they were in
It's-
danger,
Yeah.
but because Malika, she's the 4-year-old who said, and she was 3 at the time, saying that she saw her dad, and she's like she hasn't seen her dad since you took him. But of course she wants to. It's like I used to tell a
stories
couple
all
of
the
friends that my dad was
time.
getting married to this new
I
girlfriend he had because I
right.
really liked her. I didn't even
Right.
realize I was doing. I'm like, I told you. That's weird.
Isn't it
But I'm like, I
funny?
wanted it so bad. I
Right.
did. I loved her. I was like, she was the best, and I
So
thought
they're
she could be
listening
like
to
my
her.
mom, you know. So
Oh.
you say things that you
Yes.
want, you know, but they're like, but then when she reports sexual abuse, and
Who
a
did?
person named
the,
Gigi.
the little girl.
So they had to go twice to Rady for sexual assault exam that they never did, but then said we cannot confirm nor deny, but they will go with that. They're denying that there's anything happening, but they didn't want to put the girls through such a traumatic thing. And it's like they have these
Isn't that
UTI
ironic?
and rashes in their vaginal area saying that freaking hurts. And then the second
saying
time
dad
that
did
it
it?
happened,
Dad?
no, a woman named Gigi.
Like a foster parent.
I don't know who
We don't
Gigi
even-
is, but it was
who's
she.
Gigi?
He took her into a dark room. She was long, had long hair. She was a dark woman, and it was like I could only get a little bit,
Yeah.
but you should have seen the look on her face. I wish I have audio of it.
The 4-year-old.
But they were saying that I was coaching her and asking her leading and loaded questions. I'm like, no, I wouldn't. I didn't lead her anywhere, but I'm like,
You're
is it
asking.
a woman like me? Is it a
Right.
man?
Right.
Or do they have dark skin? Is their hair long?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
And that's funny with the book from even having my repressed memories aren't bad like that. You know, it's just experience of dealing with other, sides of the world and realms of the world. Those are where my repressed memory comes. But I didn't have the vocabulary.
right. Exactly.
I did not have the vocabulary to explain. Not that
Yes.
I wasn't able to say stuff to any,
Sure.
like I didn't have the vocabulary for it, and I didn't understand how to even describe what was things that were happening, and they weren't bad or
And that
negative.
young, if you're saying
was-
something like that
yeah.
happened. You know
That's
what
what I
I
mean.
mean?
Right,
Well,
and
like,
that's
But
traumatic.
that's why I'm saying her
Right.
look in her eyes
Yeah.
was
Right.
enough for me. That's why I'm like,
Right.
not like, but I mean, that's why I
The
kept
vocab-
going. Okay, and I was on my knees level with her, and I was just like, and I would pause because I was like,
Well, you
okay, and I'm
want them
trying to
to-
write
right.
notes, and I'm not trying to overwhelm her. So I was like, let's play, let's draw some heart,
Correct.
you know,
Yeah.
and then I would go back into it. And it was like, it was just so sad to see that. And
Right.
that's where I was like,
I'm so sorry. That's
it brings me back to being a
does,
child. It's
right.
so,
not being heard.
Well,
like, and just knowing, and I was like, these people are so negligent.
Motherfuckers.
And to say, but that's how they got me out of the kids. I just showed up, okay? So,
Right.
like, that's what they didn't like either. They're like, what the fuck do we do about
So
our
did she
drugs?
find you? How does this?
So I found different parents along the way
Okay.
from different things. Like it was the dad who I met and the grandfather at an event that was at the courthouse. Through a woman who deals with like parents like that and through family
So
court.
was this through you being a journalist?
Yes, I went to go cover
So
it.
you decided to become a journalist or an advocate? I
Well,
guess
so
that's what-
yeah, like I didn't necessarily, I don't know that I was like, I'm gonna go be this.
Right,
Do you know what I
right,
mean? It was
yeah.
like, I like to cover stuff, go live, so it's like that's just
Yeah.
been something that I do, and then just asking people. So it's like I don't
It's
have
evolved.
education, but it's
It's
that's
evolved.
where kind of being an activist
Mhm.
led to as well. So it's like, but doing both. Like, so when I started walking again, and I started to, because I was off all these meds, and so I could actually start thinking. I couldn't even hold a conversation.
Right.
And you had to get off those meds
Well,
on your own.
I
You-
did.
You really had to.
But I felt like something was coming. So like when I started walking, that is a whole thing in itself. So
Yeah.
I was getting really sick and having a lot of seizures,
Uh-huh.
and so I was being thrown out of my chair onto the ground a lot of the time. And at one point that happened, and I slammed my forehead into the ground,
Uh-huh.
and I got a pretty bad concussion and head trauma from it.
Yeah.
And so I started going through kind of like a spiritual experience as well. It was
Right,
yeah.
enmeshing kind of, but it was
Right.
like, it was a lot. And I didn't know if I was dead part of the time.
Right.
And so after that happened, I was at home, and I heard "Get Up and Walk, or you'll never walk again." And I was like, "What?" But it was like on a loud, and I'm like, "Who is that?" But I was like, "That's like God. Oh my God, what?" And I'm like, but I felt compelled. I was like, when he said it again, "Get up and walk," but it was because of what I was about to go through was extremely dark. Yeah, I went to hell and back. Like it was.
I say the same thing. Yeah.
And so that's why it's hard, because it's like I feel like I was on a trip of whatever, and so I
Right.
know that my head allowed kind of some of me to almost let go. I don't know, I can't really explain,
Right,
but I
and-
know that it wasn't my head trauma, that it was like
Correct.
I was experiencing it, right?
Yeah.
And part of it was physical, part of it was mental and like in my head. But he told me that for a reason, because it was like, what you're about to go through for the next 3 days is literal hell, and I need you to get up. And
That's. I mean, it's.
And you got up.
That's.
well, I did and then it was like I couldn't really walk, but I was like kind of crawling around. But as soon as that happened, it went dark. It was like it was light, and I was like, oh my gosh, what? And I had like animals, they weren't there. I was like, but I was in my house, and I'm like, I don't understand. And for 3 days, I was in the bathroom, and it was like I could feel the house falling into the earth. It was like shaking, and it would go down, and then it would hit, and then come back up, right? And it was like I couldn't even talk about this for such a long time, because I was like, it's like I'm crazy. I
Right.
am not going to
Right.
talk about
Right.
this. I was
Right.
like, but God was like, I'll give you the time. It's not time yet. Like I had to sit with it for a while, because I was like, I don't even understand.
Right. Right.
I can't even explain that myself. I feel like I was dead. I mean, I really did.
Yeah.
And so in that, I'm also kind of like going with it. And so I was like falling into there, but it was, and parts of my body would dissolve into sand. And so it was like, and so part of it, and this is what it sounds crazy, but it's like part of it's in my head of like, I need to do this. And so it was like, when the house is going down, you need to, whatever's touching the ground is going to dissolve into sand. I don't know.
Right.
And so it would, and I would be like, oh my God. Like, I mean, from my legs and whatever was touching, but then it would come back up, and I'm physically feeling it in my stomach, so I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but am I like dropping parts of myself off in hell? I'm not sure.
Right.
Where it's like,
Yeah.
leave that behind. But it was like I was, I don't know. But there was a lot of part of it too is they were, and I don't even know who they were, but it was like spiritual.
I say that too. I'm like, I don't know what to.
Yeah, whatever
I
they
don't
had.
know.
No,
what
well, but
they,
these were
'cause I say
wicked.
that.
Oh,
to
wicked
certain
ones,
people.
yeah.
Oh.
So,
yeah.
but there are also good ones,
Right.
right? But
Right,
there
you're
were
like shedding
the
the
wicked. I don't
wickedness.
know, but it was like part of it, like they were wanting to bring Jesus to hell, and I was like, no,
Yeah.
Right.
I will go. I was like, take me instead. So there was this like battle with that, and I was like, no, I want you to take me to hell. Don't take him, even though he's already conquered hell. But I was like,
But that's what
I
you're- right.
want to sacrifice myself because he did it and I deserve it and he doesn't. I mean, not like I'm saying I need to go to hell, but more
Right.
so.
This is what your
that-
mom. Right.
Yes.
This is what's going.
And
in
I
your
was
mind.
like,
Right.
I'm willing to go
Right.
for him. I was
Right.
like, okay, that's fine, so don't send him, send me,
Right.
kind of a thing. And I don't know, but this for like 3 days I was going through other crazy things where there was like dark, hot demons in my chest. Like physically, that's where I was like, it was hot. I was trying to like rub them out. I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm
Right.
like just going through this like
Yeah.
thing, and I'm like, I must be dead and I must be in hell because
Right.
like this is
that
literally
fucking
that.
trip. Yeah.
And then I wake up in the hospital, and it was like I was septic, and I almost died. My dad had come out, and he was like, "You were asking me if you were gonna die a bunch," and he was like laughing. I'm like, "I thought I was dead." Okay, I was like,
I thought it was.
I did, but I continued to go through this experience for quite a while. It was
Wow.
not just those 3 days,
Right.
but it would
Right.
come and go in weird things. So I was like, again, not sure, am I dead, am I alive? And there were times where when I was in the hospital, I could hear beep, and then I go, so I don't know what parts of those are too. But so it was either I was physically going through it, or if I was out, like because I was asleep or
sweat, right,
in a
the same,
coma
right,
type of a
right.
thing, it was still going on in my
Right.
head.
Yeah.
Okay, and so it was like when and then so then I couldn't walk after, and I was like, I don't understand.
Right.
I'm not gonna tell anybody that, cause but my dad was worried, like, I don't know what's going on. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm like, I
Yes.
don't either. Okay, but I can't walk now, but I
Right.
know that I can.
Right.
So I want to go to learn how to walk again.
Right.
Like, let's do this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm willing to shed that shit and let's go. Because he
Right,
said,
right.
get up and walk, or you're never gonna walk again. You know?
Right.
Like, I didn't know that I would. I didn't think that I would. I thought I actually took my life a year prior to that. And that's at that point, because I was in between.
Yeah.
That's when I started experiencing the spiritual stuff.
Right.
And I was hearing things that I didn't understand. And I'm like, I don't really care what people think, and they're whatever.
Good.
But it's like, so but that was where it kind of started, and I was like, this is interesting, right? And then it kind of went away or whatever. I kind of suppressed, because it's like, you don't know what to do with that. And I keep asking God, like, when things would happen, I'm like, if this isn't from you, take it away. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I know that he's allowing me to go through that because he needed to bring me to where I am, where I'm like, I ain't afraid of evil. I was like,
Right.
fuck that shit. I was like, I'm afraid of not having you, because I know that I can get through any of that with him, but without him, no way. That is terrifying. It's terrifying.
And that is
why
everything
here
you're
you are,
right,
today,
and
so
saying and collaborating something has drawn me to her, and it has drawn me to you, because the things that you were saying when it comes to these being to hell and back, they whatever point it's been triggered, you know,
Yes.
it, like you were saying, even as an adult, you didn't have the vocabulary, or weren't ready to.
I didn't even know any of that stuff would have been.
Right.
I had no idea what we were in. Like, even this now, I was not aware.
Right.
Yeah.
And when I'm having these, like you said, whatever it is telling me this stuff, like my aunt had passed, and it's like when you're in whatever state, you know, I thought sleeping, and I probably went to bed.
I would
but
have
that's
just sleep paralysis.
yes,
A
yes.
lot. With dark stuff. Like, it would be, and I couldn't get up, but go ahead. Yeah.
It's the war.
Yeah.
It really is scary.
It's spiritual battle.
right?
It's-
And you wake up and you're like, "What the fuck is happening to me?" And you don't say that to anybody, but
No.
you're like looking around and you're like,
Until the door opens because someone
Right.
says something, then you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can tell you this.
Yeah.
But then it's like, you're not
Right.
crazy.
right.
Yeah.
And I said that the other day. I said, I don't say this to many people, but when I feel available to use certain language, and I think I said that to you a couple days ago, right?
Yeah.
But my aunt had came to me, you know, and it's so surreal when certain things happen to you. And I've been able to say this out loud, like to my family on Facebook. When they talk about her, I said she is what looks like the Northern Lights. It's hard to describe vocabulary or language that you don't have when you're on a when you're in a different realm.
Yes.
There's no real language except for you try to search for a word.
What you can, yeah.
And so the Northern Lights, but it's more than that. You know what I mean? Like like you're saying how you're describing as the sand.
Yes.
It's so much. It's so bright. You know, when it's brighter than what I can describe to you, and the interaction of the feeling of she had felt like she had put her whole body onto. You know, when
Yeah.
it was like I would say a hug. But it's not a hug. It's like an inner.
Well, I felt my mom when she
You
died,
know?
so I laid in the bed that she died in.
Yeah.
and I felt this energy. It was like she was hugging me like this,
Right.
and I heard this like high pitched ring. I was like, does anybody else hear that? And I was like, it was like I was a vibration,
Right.
and I was like, what is happening? And I was like, I totally know that was my mom, like
Yeah.
saying
Right.
goodbye, like I love you so
Right.
much.
Yeah.
But I was all, this is freaking weird.
It's weird. It's weird.
It
And
was
I didn't have the
awesome.
sound. It was so bright. So bright. And the funny thing is that when we cut back to the children thing, we're robbing humans as soon as they fucking
When people are playing Russian roulette with kids.
as soon as they're born. My
Oh, yeah.
son, and we rob them. We've been robbing people for a long time,
Yeah.
and it's time to stop.
Yes.
Especially with the youth. He said, because this language is open at my house, and he said, "Mom, you want to know what? I remember, I knew you were my mom before I came out." And he said, "It's like a movie." He said he remembers being born. So I was like, interesting. This was just last year.
Yeah.
And he said it was like, I seen your face on a movie screen. It was like, I could hear you, and they're telling me, okay, it's almost your turn. It's almost time to go. And he said there was someone, it was bright, and it was a voice, like that's what they were saying. It's not like they were talking, but they were
Yes.
whispering to me,
Right.
it's almost your time. And he was watching a movie screen.
Yeah.
He said it was so clear, but the person, I wanted to see who was telling me, but I couldn't, because if I looked up, it was so
So bright.
bright. But it felt okay, and they said it's almost your turn, like you're gonna go, don't be afraid, and he said it was so real, and it came out, and you were my mom, like what I seen on the movie screen, and there you were, and that's all he remembers.
How old is he now?
He's 12, but he just told me this last year, and he said he didn't know it was astral travel,
Right.
but it's that we as humans have these abilities to touch and be interactive and connected to God, source, whatever you want to call it. And this is what we're doing to children, and allowing people of authority to control how we treat other people and other people's children that have no connection.
Yeah.
And so you're saying, like, back to an adult, it is time that as adults, we start holding other adults accountable
Yes.
on how they behave to you, to me, to you, and how we interact with each other. And big
But that takes
business.
setting an example too. I mean,
Correct.
right.
Well, and also becoming acknowledge what has happened in the school systems over the last 70 years. I mean, the school systems are set up to control indoctrination. It's not even about going and teaching our kids who they are and what they're good at.
It's letting
It's
other
really
people raise
raise
our
them,
children.
but also put them in classes. Like the Brave New World. That book's like, have you read the Brave New World by Aldous Huxley?
It's like the 1984 Big
right.
Brother.
Kind of, but it is like
It's coming to
classes,
fruition.
Right.
It's
Like,
coming
you're good at
fruition.
this, you're good at this, you're good at this. Like my daughter, she's
They
terrible
do that
at-
intentionally.
Of
Yes,
course
they
do.
do.
That's a whole
Predicted
setup. It
Yes,
is.
they do. And
It is.
that book, that guy was already seeing what we're headed to,
But
and that
that's
is
what
real.
we have to become aware of.
Very
So
much
we
so.
can change it.
Very much so. And having these conversations that we're having.
Yeah.
Because people aren't comfortable with them. Like I
sure
said
it-
with the astrology real fast,
Yeah.
I was talking, and religious people don't really want to talk about astrology in the way the conversation that I was saying, that what's coming down the pipeline, and people that I follow and understanding the stars, that July is going to be a real big storm.
Yeah.
And people.
My name means storm. Anyway.
Oh, is that was another question I had, is how did you come up with Eye of the Storm?
Actually, I
That's
had
right.
a friend do that. Jason Robo. He used to go to but I was like, what should my show be called? Like when I had a radio show.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I was like, my name means storm, but storm means standing together, organizing a revolutionary movement. So it was like
I like it.
many
Me
things in one. But then
Yeah.
he was like, you should call it Eye of the Storm. And I was like, what? I should. I love that. So I was like, but
Yeah.
storm is, and when I open it, I'll be like, we're standing together, organizing a revolutionary movement, basically. Because we are. It's just not what people
Yes.
think. But
Yeah.
it's like, we can, that's how powerful we are, is that, and that's why they have to tame us. But even, real quick with the astrology, as above, so below, right? So
Right.
you can watch the sky and see what's going to be happening. It's very telling
Right.
spiritually, but it can be used and weaponized, like we were saying.
Yes.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
with the now I forgot. We're so powerful that that's why they're like, we got to get you guys, in your hamster wheel, because you could totally destroy what we're trying to do.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yes.
If and we're waking it up, and it's
Just
just
like that.
ascending our consciousness to understanding how divine and powerful we are.
Yes.
And if we can just let go of the fear, because that's what they feed off of, you know, our fear.
Yes.
You know.
Yes, and people don't want to hear that type of language. And that's why collaboration too. Like, she has a way of speaking is really soft and welcoming and caring and sensitive, you know. And you have a way that you say your things, and I think it's but collaborating and saying it for each individual person to understand, so they can hear it easier for them.
Absolutely.
You know, but it needs to happen. And we're not in charge of anybody else's path, but we're seed planters.
Yes. Well, we're in charge of our own, and that's where it
Yes.
takes
Right.
people taking responsibility for what they're doing that's allowing this.
Right.
So that's why I've been telling people, it's like,
Informing.
until you're ready to change, there's not going to be the change.
That's right.
Right.
Because we have to be the change that we want to see, and then the world around you changes.
It
It's like people
does.
think like,
It does.
no, they need to change. I'm like,
No.
the board of supervisors, they're not going to change.
They're
But
not
if
gonna
I change my perspective on it
Yeah.
and how I see things, it's
Right.
like, I don't have to play your game. So you can actually live outside their game
Right.
Absolutely.
within that.
Right.
When I
Right.
started the nonprofit, the one thing that I felt God tell me to do is like, just start a Facebook book group. Call it the Oceanside Homeless Resource. Start sharing your story, because it's all about community, changing the hearts of the community. You know, I didn't really care about the leaders because I knew they were all just doing things they weren't supposed to be doing. But that's what I noticed, and it was beautiful. It's like that's where it's at, you
Yes.
know. And I started seeing like hundreds of people started donating, doing these resource fairs, and just like, but changing the hearts of how they saw people, you know, and treated people.
Yes.
And then
you know?
what happens? Someone comes in. The dark will always. That's what
God,
I
yeah.
have to be. I had to become really aware of what I knew
They
as
wanna
a dark,
destroy that.
Yeah.
and that people
Becomes in
that
many forms.
yes, it does. And so situations where like you're like, I just did all that, and this how all of a sudden I have nothing again, like, because we were unaware of where darkness lies.
That's right.
And who it lies
Well, you
with.
believe
And that it's everywhere, though.
It is
That's
everywhere.
Nathan Fletcher was he was the one that opened my eyes to the way, and I was like,
Right.
I'm actually very thankful.
Yeah, that you
Right.
can see it.
Because he is so vile, but I actually enjoyed. He was fun to fuck with. Like,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
even though like he had me assaulted and stuff like that, it's like
That's all.
whatever. But I remember because I'm like, yeah, they're totally gonna listen. So during COVID, I'm like, I need to go and meet with all of them and have a conversation about what I know,
Yeah.
like about the vaccines and things like that. And I'm like, and I mean, how could they not be compelled to want to save their own community, right? Like, I mean, if they know,
Yeah.
they'll want to turn away. And so it was when they were reopening the county, and I actually got assaulted by his staff and got nerve
Wow.
damage in my arm before I got nerve damage from the other guy. It wasn't as bad because he didn't twist my arm, but he yanked it, and it was like from my shoulder, whatever.
But still,
But anyway, so nobody, it was like at 6 a.m. I showed up, nobody's there, Nathan's there with some of his staff, and I'm like, perfect time, I'm gonna go talk to him and see
Yeah.
if I can get a meeting, right? 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how else to do this, I'm just
Right.
gonna right to his face. And I felt like a total midget because he's super tall. So I can imagine what you would feel like. I'm just kidding, because I'm like
Yeah,
5 inches taller than you, maybe. But
Everybody
but
but
still,
stand next
do you know
to me,
what I mean?
they're
I'm
like,
like,
you're so small.
I
I'm
know.
like, I know.
you make me feel tall.
I
I'm
know.
powerful. I might be
That's why
small.
We make him feel real tall. No, but and so I'm like, kind of feeling a little intimidated,
Right.
but not. But I was like, I just would like to see if I could meet with you and have a conversation about these things. And he's like, oh no, I will never meet with you or talk to you about stuff because I don't believe anything you say. Which he knew it was the truth. That's why he
Right.
wanted to silence
Well,
it.
look what happened to
And
him.
I was like, oh my gosh, that's interesting. And so it opened up my eyes. I was like, okay, now I know who I'm dealing with. And
Right.
now I understand that I have to change my perspective and what I'm doing. So that's why even again, people will be like, oh my gosh, they don't listen. And I'm like, I know that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they do, but other people listen.
Right.
And people can see them, especially when you're present, because being present, it brings into the quantum physics and stuff, and being
Right.
observant,
Right.
you change things.
Yeah.
Yes.
It does change, and people are not willing to wait, but then stay the course.
What are we willing to sacrifice?
Yes.
Is what I say,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
What are we going to be willing to
And I
sacrifice?
think
But
all
it's
of us
really,
are-
what are you
yeah.
willing to gain?
absolutely,
Right.
and grow from. and
let
realize.
go of
Yeah.
and
Right.
gained, because
Right.
it's not sacrifice. It's like sloughing off.
The
Like people that
comfortable,
Yeah.
the
But like, say
Right.
the job that people were like, "Oh, I had to get the vac." It's like, no, you didn't.
No, you
just
didn't.
weren't willing to leave that
Correct.
job and step out
Correct.
into the open unknown, and trust that you're going to be taken care of. Because I know that no matter what I do, as long as I make the right decision, God will be there to protect me and see me through it.
Yeah.
But it's like, if I'm not willing to trust Him, or trust that whatever's going to come out on the back end of that, it's like you're actually discarding a blessing that you would never know and exist. Because why would you want to work for somebody who would tell you to do that,
Right.
first of all?
Right.
And even the people that are like going back now, I get my job back. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That's like going back to somebody that beats you. Like,
Yeah.
he loves me again. Oh my
Right.
gosh. I mean,
Right.
that's what you're,
Right.
what is wrong with people? I'm like,
Yeah.
Because that's
They
what
don't
we've been
wanna-
trained
Yes.
without
Yes.
even knowing it.
And
Everyone's
I'm,
a
and I'm
victim,
glad that we're
like,
not like that.
in that mindset.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
they can't, it's like Stockholm syndrome or whatever. Like, no,
Yes.
it's just okay. This is just the way it is. I'm so scared of like what it's supposed to be like. It's like, it's so freeing when you're not like allowing them to tell
Yeah.
you what the fuck
Feels
to do.
real good to
When
know.
they're lying, they're breaking the law.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And
My whole
this
family got it, you
Yeah,
know, except a couple people, you know.
and this is why I think we're here to do this work and start helping people, because this is getting it's out of control. It's affecting, and like you said, as above, so below, and I've been studying the hermeticism and all of that consciousness, all of that stuff to better understand it, because it's a field we play with, and like you said, the quantum field,
Yes.
and that's why I like being
Yeah.
present and speaking so that they can see my
Yes.
face.
Yes. If you're on the
It's-
phone, it's,
No, right, and that's why I try to be present, and
yes.
it's causing because you have to remind yourself, because you do get sucked into this, like it's just a bat, I have to remind myself every day, like this is whatever I create it to be.
Yes.
But it affects your inner circle when the other person doesn't necessarily, that they forget what power it is, and then they get caught in this feed of loop, like, well, right, fear.
It is,
Fear.
and that's again, it's just what they want, you know.
Right.
And our thoughts really are what create our lives.
Well, and,
Yeah, that's
and
why
I
even
watch
I'll be
myself,
aware
right?
of going, oh, don't even think that.
Right.
Me too.
It's
Nope.
checking yourself,
Moving
right?
forward, moving on. Yeah.
Right, and being in and putting yourself in a space that you have people to remind you, like, of am I allowed to say their name that you work for?
RTFH?
RTFH, and making a situation that was uncomfortable for you, and going to a space where you start going,
You got to go in.
forgetting,
Well,
right? But and then forgetting your power again. And
Yes.
I'm like, no,
Definitely.
being there,
What happened to me, it's like,
because it
going-
affects your money,
Yeah.
and you go back into that realm,
But that's the only way, or whatever. Like,
right?
like, still, okay, that is useful, but you don't have to sell your soul for it.
Right, and but you start to feel bad about yourself, and then you start seeing that I can't buy this or I can't have
Right.
food, and it is,
And it
even
wasn't even like for me for money, like when I got wrongfully terminated, because I am allowed to say that, we are in a lawsuit, but so I can't say certain things, but it was more of the,
You thought they were your
it broke
friends.
my spirit. I've known them for years. They watched me advocate. They
Right.
watched my nonprofit. They've known me as a storyteller. They've seen me, connect. They knew I'm a huge connector in North County. They knew what I was capable of. But once it became inconvenient and I fell down this hill in November, everything changed.
well, you start
you know.
to see who's playing the game.
Well,
then
and I
they
started
play you.
recognizing, wow, I'm really not as cared about as I thought, And anyways, it's been, and when I got wrongfully terminated, it was just like one day I was just fired, no severance, nothing. My life went, and one of the things, and I think, they wrote me an email telling me that my 16-year-old is an adult and she can stay home by herself because she was really sick. And that's when I started, because I worked out of the office. I mean, I never worked from the office. I worked from home in the community. And that's kind of where I pushed back. It was like the end of December, and I'm like, first off, she's not an adult. She's 16 and she's sick. So I'm going to work from home. And then it kind of started getting this weird, and within like a week and a half, I was fired.
Wow.
So,
Which is what they want anyway. COVID, they were like, it didn't get people out of their cars as much as we thought. We did a lot of hybrid.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Like, everyone's now working hard. Because I was like, why isn't there traffic on Fridays?
Yeah, there's no
like,
traffic,
because
yeah.
everyone's doing hybrid
right,
work. I was
right.
like, oh gosh.
yeah. Anyway,
well,
so
and that's
that's
a
great.
whole nother.
I'm good with
thing.
it
Right.
broke my spirit, and
Right.
then all of a sudden I couldn't, so anyways, it's been it's horrendous how people can treat people. But
Oh,
the
yeah.
one thing is I had like 6 different people reach out to me and say that this happened to them.
Well,
So
and
yeah,
I
that's
did,
where that comes.
and I didn't
Yes.
feel like I was crazy. I was like,
That's
and then I was just quiet. Now I've been more quiet about it.
But
But
I-
I definitely was wrongfully
I
terminated.
have
and
to
I'm
keep
not okay with it.
reminding her, and I have to remind myself too, is that look, if they didn't do that, we wouldn't be starting
right.
this podcast that you had talked
Right.
about. We had talked about like, oh, we should do this, we should do this. And even though it's not like paying any, it's not feeding me, but that doesn't mean it won't feed
Right.
me.
Well, it's
And it's-
feeding, it's feeding our soul. It's feeding. It's allowing us to grow. Like at first I was so upset, and now I'm just like, I know truth.
You would have never done. We would have
I know
never.
what
You would have never done this
Yeah.
if they didn't, because
Right.
it freed her.
Yeah,
I
like
wouldn't be
COVID
able to
allowed
do
me
it.
to do all this.
Yes, and,
Push me into that
yes.
space.
Yeah.
for a specific reason, and I think that this right now happening
Well, and now I can
specifically.
come to the county and talk because before I wasn't even allowed to come to the county.
Oh,
For
right.
them, right?
Right.
Right.
The only
You
person
have
that's
to-
allowed to talk is Tamara.
Yes.
The CEO. No one else can go over and really talk.
That's what's
right?
so funny.
Isn't that
Right?
interesting?
That's where I'd see something like you can tell when I'm in the elevator. It's like
Yeah.
they either love me or they hate me, and it'll
Yeah.
be the staff or whatever. And so someone were like, "Hey, oh my gosh!" Like Monica's got some staff that
Right.
is like, "Hey, I love seeing you." He's always
Yeah.
like, "Give me," it,"
Yeah.
And then other people are like,
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, and they're playing, and then they're
That's
just
just
part of
it
the
over.
game. They're playing the game, but
Yeah.
that's why also I said like this is real life, real time. Nothing's off the fucking table.
Yeah.
They have what has transpired in my life from beginning to up to now. I have nothing to fucking lose, and I'm not afraid. You
but
know, because
everything's
once
a
you,
game.
right,
Everything.
and once you can get there, it's still not. It's not easy because you have to make choices every day.
Oh gosh, no, yeah.
And who you know, and that dark is always poking you where
Always.
you don't want to be fucking
Yes.
poked.
Well, and our response is what we have control over. So it's like so many times I want to say certain things. I'm like, nope, don't say anything. Like I could say lots of things, but you just gotta be quiet,
Well,
and just
I
remember.
say it in the car when I'm driving.
only because
and
we're in
then
a lawsuit.
Right.
If I
Oh,
wasn't
what
in a
you're
lawsuit,
saying,
I
yeah,
would
what
say
you're
lots
saying.
of stuff to be
Yeah.
quite
well,
honest.
and then that's the thing. Like that will be able to be said at some point in time. But people,
Or
I don't-
not, depending on what.
what,
happens,
right?
or
What,
not
and what's the
said.
point of bringing things up?
Yeah.
But this is where we're at in this life right now. Like people, things need to be said,
That's right.
and it is uncomfortable.
People need to change within there. Like I. Go ahead.
But,
Yeah.
well, things need to be said, and nothing's off the fucking table. And if you have something to fear, then that's on you.
Right.
But if it's causing issues, and I think it's bringing really bad negative and affecting my children and affecting everybody,
Yes.
it's time that people say, you say things that people want to say,
Yeah.
you say things that people don't say, and you say things that are uncomfortable. And that's not easy.
Thank
So
God.
that's why I just really, really wanted
Real.
to. This is
Yeah.
our first live,
I
our
know,
first
so
interview.
it's awesome.
Yeah, we're excited. Yeah.
And for me, I have this urgency inside. I don't know what that is, and it's hard to describe.
That's right.
It really is.
She
It's,
does. She's been amazing about all this. So she has been on fire.
there's
the last few
something
months
that
about-
is like you said. It said, do this.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
says, do that.
Listen. yeah.
And so, even at home, like I have people that don't understand, when you're in relationships with people that it's hard for them to understand. And so that's a
For
hard
sure.
thing too.
Right.
For
Like, you
sure.
should be doing this, and this.
Well, and
not-
people close to you, you're never going to get to them. It's got to be that you can plant seeds, but let
Yeah.
it go. And
Right.
then they'll come back when other people have told, and they're like, oh, shit, okay, well.
Right.
And, and then they start to open their mind about it. And then you can start to have those
Right.
conversations. But it's like trying to force a square peg into a round hole is
Right.
never going to work. You're going to piss them off. They're going to
Yeah.
be like, why the fuck are you telling me this?
Right.
Right? Because it's too close.
Mhm.
And then even though they'll hear it from somebody else and they may come and tell you, oh my gosh, this and it's like, yeah, I told you that.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
like, but they didn't listen. So it's okay. That's our choice on how we deal with that too. And it's like,
Mhm.
instead of going, welcome to this side. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
instead of going like, well, I told you and you never
Right.
listen. It's like,
Right.
That's
oh
not
my
right.
gosh, that's you need to internally
Right.
work on yourself. And I feel like that's part of where I was gonna say too is that nobody's willing to do the work on themselves, and I love it because it's like you can be better. And it's like I'm not saying I'm like horrific, but anybody can be better.
Right.
And it's like, I do see flaws within myself
Right.
that I'm like, ooh, I don't like that. And so I like to be course corrected and go,
Yeah.
okay, well, next time I'm not going to do that. I mean, even
Right.
if it's as little
Right.
as like, fuck you for like
Yeah.
cutting me off, right? And then now I'm like, oh, just bless them. Okay.
That's right.
I don't want to, because it's a chain reaction.
Well,
It's
it's
a butterfly
energy
effect. Yes,
within
it's
you.
going out.
Yeah.
And I'm just feeding that beast, and it's like,
Well,
I
and-
have to be willing to go, no, I'm not going to do
Right?
that.
Yeah.
Self-control,
Right.
but also like honing in on like who you are, like,
Yeah. What
and
kind of
what you're
person?
capable of.
Yes.
It's like, we leave ourselves behind, but it's like, if I want the world around me to change, then I have to.
Right, and when your 8-year-old daughter hears this is like from being homeless for almost 3 years. She hears a horn or hears something, it's an automatic.
Right.
She's 8. She
I was
doesn't
just-
even
I
look.
was- I
She
was-
doesn't even look. Or
Yeah.
sometimes I'll hear her say, "Fuck
She
you."
just is
I'm not
part of
joking.
her.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
And
I
I'm like-
believe it.
But that is also the experience. It sucks. You know, it makes
Right.
it kind of funny because it doesn't even
Like,
flinch.
oh my
It's an
God.
automatic, for
So
sure,
my
a
daughter
middle
has her
finger.
permit. You know, howdy.
Automatic.
And she's the same way. She's like an aggressive driver.
Yeah.
And the other day, like, she's like using her horn, and I'm the kind of person like
Yeah,
I'm
horn-
at a place like
yeah,
you,
I
like
don't like-
peace
yeah.
signs, bless you, just get on with your life. And I looked at her and I said, you are 16, and the horn is supposed to, you know. And I said, no,
No,
honey,
yeah.
you are already aggressive. I mean, she's a sweetheart. But then I found
But
out
it's
I was
learning
then I
bad
was driving
behavior,
with my
yeah.
mom.
She
3
does
days
it.
later, and my
I
mom
remember.
did it, and I
Yeah.
said, Mom.
I hate the horn.
And then I told her about Hattie. She goes, "Oh my gosh!"
Unless they're
I think
going to run
well,
into
my
you.
mom's like, "I think that's from me because I tell people they're idiots, and I use my horn." And I said, "Well, it is from you because she drives with you all the time. Because
Right.
it's not from me. Like I throw peace signs, you
Yeah.
know. But
Yeah.
but it's energy, and we
Right.
don't. And I try to explain to Hattie, it's not that. She's like, I don't want you to be that kind of person.
It
Where
should- right.
your energy's real, you know, and
Right.
it affects you and your moments and your soul journey. You know,
Sure.
it's important. So like, you don't need to be.
Well, and you
Really?
realize you're digging something else that
Yeah,
came
something
out
else, yeah. What
that
else is
had
going
nothing to
on?
do
Yeah,
with the
where it's
driving.
like, oh my gosh.
And why do I feel this?
And that's why I want to
heat?
slough it off
Right.
and be like, okay, well,
Right.
just bless you because I don't even want to think about this
That's
anymore. I don't
right.
want this to come with me.
Right,
as
I'm already
like,
irritated.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why even like the music I listen to, Christian or whatever music, but it's like it keeps me in a good place because I'm just like I'm worshiping
Yeah.
and I
All
like
of
that,
that.
I love that, but it's like it keeps me not because you listen to that and you're like fuck off. I mean, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's
Heck
like
yeah. There's times I listen
Wow.
to that. I'm like, oh, I need to fucking, you
Yeah.
know.
I know.
But-
I'm like high frequency, like pineal gland music lately. Oh,
And-
can you
and
just
that's-
open up?
432
They,
Yeah.
right, right. And they,
Yes, it's
as
real.
in they, the bigger, they
the
understand
powers
that
they
too.
shouldn't be. Yeah.
They understand that too. What's
100%.
coming out of this? What's coming out of this?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, all the frequencies and vibration. Yeah.
Yes,
you
it,
know.
it tags onto us.
It
And
does.
so this is also another thing that people need to think about that aren't really, that when I say they, we're talking, I don't know,
General.
elite, just, no,
Sure.
even the U.S., the
Again,
government.
the powers that
what-
shouldn't be.
Yes, it's a fucking nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Well, like you said too, it's like we live in the world like Satan's world, really.
Yes.
We do in his playground, and so the people that do succeed a lot of the times are the
It's
ones
because-
that aren't the greatest people.
Yes.
Absolutely, and the ones like
100%.
us that are trying out here, like we get persecuted.
But
for, like,
it depends on what you think of as succeeding. They want
Right.
money,
Right,
and
they're not
power, and
really
it's like we don't need
succeeding
that.
in their
So-
soul.
right, but I mean,
but yeah,
but people look at that and they're like, I want that. I want
know.
the yacht and all
Right.
that. And it's like they're not even happy.
no.
No.
They will
No.
never have enough money because it
No.
doesn't matter how much they have. They're going to want something bigger and bigger
Right.
and bigger.
That's right.
So it's like, and then you got to deal with all. It's like a lot of you know.
And then how are they
Let them
gonna
have
do
that
it?
life. I mean,
Right.
you're just
But-
killing children.
That's what I was gonna say. And
Yes.
how are you getting that life? You're like hurting kids, killing
Yes.
kids.
But this is the end. That's what I was saying. What's the end game at city
Right.
council? Like,
Right.
so if we're going to come back to locally, what is the end game? Because centralized digital
Yes,
is
data,
the end game when it
We
comes
gotta
to
go up
very,
against that.
very top, right?
Yeah.
So with the city council and having these cuts, make it make sense, dude. Because you're cutting all this and this. We're
Well,
talking
you're
about
not
people
even
having
building.
suicides off the grid.
Right.
What game? What
about
side
that,
are you on, dude?
Right.
Because I'm going to call you out. I'm ready to start calling people out.
Yes.
Because it's disgusting and it's coming fast. Everything is moving
Oh,
faster. Everything is
for
moving
sure.
faster. So explain to me, what's the end game? What don't I know? because I can only research so many things.
Well,
so,
I mean, with the data center, so I feel like that they're gonna try and
You-
bring
it's-
back the Antichrist and stuff like that.
well,
like
even
bring
with the
in
city,
play out
are
Revelation.
they trying to bring a data center?
Thank you so much, because I
They're
truly
going to.
believe that AI
I mean,
is
not
part of
necessarily
the
here.
Antichrist, and it's part
It
of
is.
Davis. It
That's why they
absolutely
Well, yeah,
created
yeah.
Jerusalem.
That's
well,
right.
a hive
Israel, like
hive mind. Yeah,
Which
they want us on a.
because God, I mean, Jesus said, "You're not going to have until I create a new heaven and a new earth. Jerusalem will not come back. Like Israel will not exist." And it's like, yet they are bringing it in 1948 with the Balfour Declaration and
Yep.
the Rothschild. It's like
What
you
are-
guys have planned this out so
The whole
well.
thing.
We're occupied by Israel now,
We
and it's
absolutely
like
are.
super crazy because it's like that's why they're bringing all this anti-Semitic stuff,
Oh,
right?
such a scam.
But that's where the
right.
data set Jerusalem will be that
Yep.
place where they bring forth this
AI.
whatever,
And people,
and they're going to
right.
use AI to do it, right?
Right.
Because not only can you get everyone to think the same,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
If you have this telling us all the same
Yes.
information,
Yes.
you can't, and it's like it continues to evolve, right? Because I remember asking, like, I don't go into. The only AI I use really is Grok. Maybe if Google gives me an answer on something,
Right.
when I'm researching and I'm looking for links, you know what I
Right.
mean? It'll give you its like little synopsis. But on X, I would go and try and be like, okay, when I was covering the border, I was like, I want some pictures of like unaccompanied alien children
Right.
that are not really kids, but that it's creating, just so that I can use it and not really use a real child, right?
Right.
And so a couple of years ago it was allowing me to do that, but at one point when it was like, because you can say create me another one, you know what I
Right.
mean, and then it gave me long black and black eyes in these kids, and I was like, what
Wow.
the hell is this? I was
Yeah.
like, this took to a whole other wicked level. I was like, these aren't children that you want. And now when I was doing like I had it create me a flyer, which I was like, that's kind of fun, but I feel like I spent as much time as I would have creating a flyer, trying to get you to make it right. But
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
But so I had created one for the girls and their case, right?
Right.
So then I went back and I just wanted it to mitigate part of the words and change that and leave everything else the same.
Right.
And it did at first. And then when I was like, okay, give me this instead, whatever, I prompted it again, and it brought me a flyer without the pictures of the girls. And I
Right.
was like, well, that's weird. And all of a sudden it's like, I can't put that up there. It's dangerous. And I'm like, you just created one
Right.
with them on there. And it was like, oh, you're right. And then it was like, but I can't do it again. So it's as you're going, like, I wouldn't be able to get the pictures that I did, because I could get it to create with the wall a bunch of children.
Mhm.
Like, because I was like, I want to show like 300,000, 325, 350,000 kids, right?
Yeah.
So that's like several football stadiums worth.
Mhm.
But it would show me a bunch of stuff like that. Like, it was creating those images. And now, like, it's well trained that it has to stop. So it's making you feel guilty even for doing that, right?
Well, it depends on. So this is why I got into. It's a love. It's not even a love-hate relationship. It's a struggle because I wanted to understand it because I have children, and depending on how much you're paying,
Right.
and
Yeah, you
depending
get a
on
better.
right, and depending on what system you're using.
Sure.
So there's many different
Yeah.
factors to when it comes to AI and how you
Yeah.
use it and
Yes.
what you ask it,
Yes.
and when it comes to updates.
Yes.
So it could have been updated
Oh, it was for sure.
Oh,
when,
that was
when you asked it
updated,
one
huh?
thing,
Yes.
and then
And
all of a
then at
sudden
that
you're like,
moment-
"What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I've learned the specifics on specifically how you talk to it
Right.
and question it. It's
Right.
really it takes learning, and
Right.
so that's what I've been doing too. And I don't want to do that.
I know, right?
I fucking have better things to do. I rather crochet. I rather sew. I rather hang out with but this to
It's
battle
everything.
it. I have
Yeah,
to understand it at
yeah.
least enough, good enough to be enough.
Yes, well, and to not be fooled by it. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? Because like people that create it are terrified of it because they said it hallucinates. There's a lot of weaponizing
There's-
it and putting it in the wrong hands is extremely dangerous, and that's where we're at.
Well, and having children.
Well, the
Yeah.
digital
The
ID
80s.
too, right there, is just like, honestly, I don't know. I believe it's the mark of the beast. I believe it is. Like,
Well,
it's
yeah, that
time,
is.
It's like
We have to
so-
say no.
Well,
to
it'll
digital.
be a chip at
It'll be a
some
chip.
point.
It's already there.
Well, right, yeah.
It's already available.
Sure.
It's already coming
Yes.
through the sky through
Well,
our
that, yeah, the nanotechnology.
Well,
that's
and this
in
is
it.
the whole point of doing this to keep people on the up and up
Yes.
and understand like we're gonna say no and
Yes.
I'm willing to go to bat. I'll die.
Yeah, but
gotta find
but
our
people
tribe.
look at it as a convenience. Like,
Right,
they're like,
so the
"Oh,
air-
I don't need
the
my
airport-
wallet. You can
right.
just scan my face.
The
That's
airport.
who
And
I
it's like,
am.
it is so much more,
easy."
it is not.
But they don't
so
understand
dark.
it's putting you in a digital prison where you want to walk across
You
the
can't
street and you
even-
jaywalk, and it's not going to
your
let you go buy
soul,
milk.
too. I think your soul's. I think you better be worried about your
For
soul
sure.
not moving
Right.
forward. You know,
For
you're
sure.
stuck. You know. Oh,
Right.
my
But
God.
you know,
And, and
Yeah.
that's why I said I
Yeah.
told her earlier. This could
We need to
lead
buy some
into
land, everybody.
well, yes, for sure. But this has to lead, I think, into multiple conversations.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a lot.
All of us having this
Yes.
conversation and
Yeah.
and where it leaks, where because you do your own research on what you do and how this all connects
Yeah.
when it comes to
for
children,
sure,
when it comes to holding people accountable,
homeless and all of it.
all of it. Because like I said, I'm about to
Animals.
be. And
Yes,
also with I also believe I can create my reality.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Well, I don't know if you
all
were
of
talking
it,
about your
the
pineal gland.
yes,
Okay,
right,
so-
and understanding I can create my own reality,
Yes.
but we also intermingle with other people's realities, so, because it's a collective.
Sure.
And from my understanding, the county has turned all their section. I don't even want to be in the fucking loop of government assistance, but once they got you there, they fucking trap you.
Yes.
And that's why I do what I do, because I understand I'm an intelligent person. I've graduated high school, I've graduated college, I've done all these things, and I cannot do what they're asking me to do.
Right.
These
Well,
mother-
meaning live at project-based places where you don't even have.
But that's the thing,
I'm
they
not
make
going
you
through
jump
the
through
routine.
hoops
Yes.
just to get help, and it's like, fuck off, because
I can't do
you're
it.
not even like really helping, but you're like making
No.
people believe that as long as they do this, you'll get that, and that's not true.
They are not.
They're
correct.
lying.
Correct.
They are
all the
lying
people
and
that
making
are not gonna
people
have food anymore.
You go
I
through
don't-
that though to keep you busy. It's just like trying to get your kids back. Oh, if you do this.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, you did it, but we just don't feel like you learned
Yeah,
anything.
sorry to
So,
say.
Correct.
nice try. I mean, we
Correct.
wasted like 6 months of your time, though. Good
Correct.
job.
And
Like,
and that's
Right.
where
fill this application out,
Correct.
right?
right.
You're
And
gonna get it.
they fucked with the wrong bitch.
Yeah.
That's how I tell
Right?
they
Exactly.
Good.
because that's how
Good.
I feel.
Right? Yeah, I feel the same.
And we need more people to
Yes.
understand that because
Brave
you
enough
are
to say something.
yes, you are sending me in a loop. You aren't helping me. I never wanted to be, and I understand. I've accepted why I was put here.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it easy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
When you get a call,
That's right.
and that's what I had to tell my mom. I've been called to bat. I can't tell you who called me. I just know, because I don't have to be in this hamster wheel. I have the ability to have people that can help me. But
they don't want anybody talking about anything, so it continues. It's like until we're out there, and then people are like, "Me too."
Yeah.
Right. It's like
All
a
of that,
matter
like,
of Me Too
yeah.
everywhere, and it's
Well,
like we've all been Me Too. Like
right?
not in the way they think, but like if we can all step into that and go, okay, so is it working?
Right.
Do we
Yeah.
continue? We're going to let them tell us that this is the way it is,
Right.
or do we abolish the forms of government that have come up
Correct.
against us
Correct.
and done this?
Right.
That's why I'm like, you guys, put your big boy pants on
Let's
and let's
do
fucking
it.
go, because
Let's go.
Yeah.
how
Let's go.
much more do you need to suffer?
Right.
Right.
Like again, it's already been enough. You don't need to
right.
suffer anymore.
Right.
It's been pastime.
Past.
But it's like you're waiting for a tidal wave. It's already you're
It's-
on the ground. I mean, it's already smashed
It's
everything
right.
all over the place. Like
Correct.
Yeah.
It's
Hello?
already been
Yes.
right. And I have the ability to go. I have to go home. But what I know is that most of these people don't.
right.
And so this is some bullshit. And I'm over it. I'm still, and it's causing problems between, like I said, my husband and I. But because people don't understand, like, my mom, like, what are you doing?
Right.
I don't know what I'm doing. Really.
Yeah,
I
it
don't know
doesn't
what
sound
I'm
good when you say
Right.
that.
I don't
They're like,
know.
do
I
you
just
think
know.
that's smart?
Right.
It's like,
right.
2 days
well,
ago.
it's yes, I
Yeah,
do. Okay.
Right. And I can't, right.
I can't explain it to
Exactly.
you. You'll find out eventually, and eventually I'll be able to explain it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know
And
what I mean?
that's what I said, and I tell my daughter because she's 6, and I talk to her a lot because I don't, that's all I have. And I'm like, one day I'm gonna be like, see, I told you, fuck you guys, but you can still come over,
Yeah.
like I'm gonna share, but fuck you guys.
Well, and we have to be brave for our kids too. A couple days ago, I shared that I was raped when I was 21, and I was talking about the story, and I shared it on my social media. And then
Did your
I got
daughter
a
know?
call from my mom,
Oh,
laying into me and being upset. I
did
said,
she
"But
know? Did your mom know?
No. And I said, the one thing that you should, I said, I shared it because I believe it's time for us to say people's names. I said, it was 21
Yes.
years ago, it was
That's
somebody,
right.
and so I did say their name. And there's
Good.
somebody that live in the area. And I said their name a few times. And I said, and I'm going to be brave enough. And I said, the one thing, Mom, is you should be proud of me and ask me if I'm okay.
Right.
I said, because I've been carrying this for years, and I had to be the one to figure out, and it affected so much where this guy got to walk away and had his own life, and I ran into him at a stoplight about
geez.
2 years ago, and I wanted to
I'd
run
love
my
to
car.
run into Bert. I mean,
Yeah, his name was Ryan, and
snap.
and Snap, and
saying
he was my
names.
high
Fuck
school,
it.
and honestly, he was my high school boyfriend. He followed me to
Oh.
college. He transferred there without me not knowing to San Luis Obispo. I ended up leaving. He followed me, he stalked me in LA. And yes, and then there's where the shame comes in, because he called me. He's like, I want to take you to dinner. I want to apologize.
Like,
and I knew I shouldn't have done it. I knew who he was. But then there was part of me is like, we were
Well-
together for 4 years. Maybe he's different.
right.
He wants to take me to dinner. Okay, he's gonna come pick me up. And he picked me up. I didn't have my car keys. I didn't have my phone. I'm a pager. I didn't have
Right.
anything. My pager. There we were, girl.
911.
Nah, yeah, right? And ended up having dinner. And then he's like, oh, I have to put my bag in my room. I mean, it was just like, and I didn't know he was staying there. And it was this place called the Bonaventure in LA. And I had performed there when I was 16. I won this whole thing because I'm a musician.
She's a performer too.
And so he was there at that part of my life. And so I was like, no, I'll stay in the lobby. And he's like, no, what, Vanessa? I'm just pulling my bag down. So I ended up like, okay, finally. Part of me, of course, knowing like, but everything seemed cool until he pushed me in there. And then he kept me in there for 10 hours and whatever. And the point is that I walked out of there feeling like I should have known better.
Sure.
I shouldn't
Of
have
course.
gone in there.
But that still
It's
shouldn't
my
have
fault.
happened.
It should have never happened.
Yeah.
And what he kept saying is, I deserve one more time with you. You owe it to me. You owe it to me. And so just six hours of me crying,
Gross.
Like,
6 hours of me asking him, let me leave, until finally it was just what it was. And then I went my way. And so it's been coming up because all these things, it's like we live in a society. It's like, no, shh.
don't talk about it.
Don't talk about
That's why I
it.
said, is your mom ashamed? Was it
No,
like,
I think she was more
Was
just
she
like,
shocked?
I think she was more like, what if something happens to you? And I said, what's going to happen to me? It
because
happened.
you're talking about it?
Yeah, and
Oh.
it's the truth.
It's like, I've already
From that
been raped.
person?
Yeah, I got raped 21. It happened, you know.
What do you think's gonna
Yeah,
happen?
what's
Because
gonna
I'm
happen?
saying
Or
that.
what
It's
is what
worse.
is he? What is he gonna say? Like he can't prove he did it or not. It was so long
You're
ago.
on that
But
right. I'm
if
not.
the truth is the truth,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna say it because people need to be not
Fucking
afraid to
A.
say
That's
it.
right.
Because that's the only way we're gonna change it.
You're all,
right.
you're all,
You know?
clearly you've forgiven him because you're not pressing charges.
Or and
you're
then
not-
she was like, "Are you angry?" I'm like, "I'm not angry at all. I wanted to share this story because
Right.
I want
It's
other
freeing.
women."
It's
And-
It is.
right.
It's healing.
And then it brings in
Right.
people that they
And
go,
you're
oh
all
my
too
gosh,
bad,
I'm
so
not
sad
alone.
if somebody knows who Ryan is.
Yeah.
It is.
I
what
did
it is.
He raped someone, so
He did
if
it.
people know it, I
Yeah.
mean, maybe they need to.
That's
And maybe
right.
in his mind he thought it wasn't, but now he's
Well,
gonna know that it
he's
was.
gonna know.
Right.
And
Oh,
absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah,
he knew
well,
like he
of
did.
course.
He was
One more time.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
Come
did.
on.
You owe it. I'll never forget it. And I remember just sitting out the windowsill after crying, and just being like, "I can't believe that just happened." But it's my fault because I
Oh.
shouldn't have come in here. I should have known better. He was a bad man to me when we were together. You know,
I mean, sure, and those are
And
lessons
those-
that you need to learn.
So I had to
Right?
really heal from
Yes.
that, and that's why now I'm a trauma coach. Because the
Right.
last 5 years I put
Yes.
myself, and that was one of the things my pod that I had to go through. Like I had to re-experience it, and then I had
Yes.
to listen to those limiting beliefs I created about myself. But then I realized like I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable, like this, and it really helped me grow the last 5 years and realize I am worthy. And
yeah,
like
but
that,
it's like you have to go through it
Yeah.
again in order to learn, because
Yeah.
otherwise you just
Yeah.
push it back and you're like, get out of
Yeah,
here,
it's just
lesson, I
in
don't
there.
want it.
Yeah,
But it's
right.
like, no, you need to, and even though it can be traumatizing,
Yeah.
you need to understand why that happened.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And what you need to do
Right.
differently, right? Like,
Right.
sure, there's a lesson in that.
There's
yeah.
lesson.
That could have been, that was stupid.
I should have
right?
never gone
But
that
it doesn't
way,
mean
but
that
yeah.
you deserve that.
No way.
Or that should happen.
Right.
But
Our
you need
society-
to learn that
Yes.
so that you can go, I'm not going to put myself in a situation like that
That's
again,
right.
but I need to share my story so that other
Right.
people can go, I understand, or you can help me through it.
Right.
Right.
Like if
Like,
we're
if you
sitting-
have a gut feeling,
Yeah.
and do not get in the
Right.
car.
Well,
Right.
and
You know, don't
How-
think that you owe them anything.
how we
I mean,
judge,
I didn't know I owed him that. Just
Right.
I thought, oh,
Right.
have dinner with him, you know. But
how
oh,
people are being judged by other people, knowing in the
That.
inside that it makes them feel a certain way.
Yes.
And so that's what another reason I speak a lot is because I don't appear to look like what you would see as a homeless person or a homeless mother. You know, that
Right.
we've built these ideas, societies have built these ideas of what that looks like.
Mhm.
But I was treated in certain ways, you know, during COVID, because we were homeless during COVID.
Yeah.
They were very disrespectful, and that's why I said I don't share much about my husband and his experience because that is his for him to share,
Right.
and it's personal.
And it was
But-
hard for him. Yeah.
I mean, what it mentally does to a man, let
Yeah.
alone a person in general being homeless, what it mentally does to you is overwhelmingly fucked up. And that then you imply this on you know, on children.
Mhm.
You know, I thought my husband was going to end up in the prison or dead. You know, for people's behavior of their own fear that we cast on to people that are already vulnerable, and that's another. You know, we'll have to
Kicking
It's a
people
whole
where
nother
they're
one.
down all the time
Fucking
instead of being
A,
like, let me
exactly.
lift you up. Come on, let's go. What do you need?
And that's what they're doing with the EBT.
Yes.
Oh, that
You're
whole thing. Yeah.
But that is right now, like, this is what we were talking about, and it's happening.
Yeah.
So now we're making people work at their to beg
The
for
most vulnerable
food,
that
and
can't even
2026, you can, it's a fucking disgusting, and
It
I'm
is.
over it.
It is.
And we've been doing this for, well, do you have anything else to do? It's been almost 2 hours. Should we
Oh, us
continue to,
talking?
yeah, I didn't know
Oh,
if,
yeah, we're
if
just chatting away. I mean, I'm good. We're good.
my son was calling me. I
Oh.
didn't know, like, if you
Well,
have
let's,
time.
we can
We can
Uh,
always do
let's-
this again.
yeah, I
Well,
mean, we
we
can
had
go
a
for like 20, I mean, let's go for a little
Okay.
bit longer and then,
Yeah.
because you don't want to, I mean, that's, you know what I mean?
Well, and
You gotta take care of it.
And I mean, my phone might be ringing. But yeah, it's
I know,
fine.
right?
Well, I didn't know when
It's
the
fine. If you're
segue-
watching, you're fine. Okay, I'll be back. I'll be ready.
But
Just make sure
No, but we should come back around and do this again because
Yeah.
I
well,
think
we have
the
the
three
studio.
of us have a lot.
We have
to
a
say.
studio again on Thursday. If
Yeah,
if
yeah.
Okay, I can't on Thursday.
Okay.
Wait. Actually, I might be able to. Let me let you know.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
well, we usually have it every Tuesday and Thursday.
Right, that's what you
When
said.
we've been
Well, and there's so much to talk about. because
so
There's
much.
so many things going on, and especially now, and like at the county, I'm gonna try to start coming to some of these county meetings.
Well,
especially
and it's
in
time.
person.
Oh,
And it's time to start putting this out there like now.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm at the point I don't have fucking nothing to lose. I'm gonna be homeless coming August.
No, we're not. We're gonna change those
Well,
words.
well, right,
But yes,
but that's
because
the
of-
reality
yes,
for a lot of
so
people that
many.
have emergency housing vouchers, and so
Yes.
this is when we go on the
Yes,
next
okay.
tier of level. So the Biden administration created these EHVs for
Oh.
people. Did you know that?
Yeah, there's-
So they created this funding for people who were directly or indirectly affected by COVID.
Oh gosh, okay.
My husband and I, we were both in the restaurant industry. I made a lot of money. That was one of the hardest hit sectors.
yeah. it was.
Went
Right.
open, close,
Yes.
open, close.
Yes.
That was our money.
That's what I had done. I was a waitress.
Right.
Yes, So
I-
it's like,
In Sandy, I made a lot.
yes.
I had a 401k.
So good to me. I mean,
I
you
had
can
a
make a lot of
I
money
went to
as a
college and could not get out of that industry because I loved it.
Yeah.
It was different.
It's
And I
fantastic.
was a bar. I made a lot of money doing it.
Mhm. You always have cash. I mean, it's like,
Always. And you have
And then
people that
COVID,
you meet.
bam.
Boom,
oh yeah,
boom.
people that you meet. Yeah.
Yeah, I got tires. You know,
Oh,
people want to hear men that sit at the bar and women. You start having these relationships, and they feel like they're involved in your family.
Right.
And I did share my family. You know, I worked at a small place. I didn't share my family with people because that's what we
It's kind of like a hairdresser. You just talk. You talk. You get to know people.
Well,
you
and
know?
what else are we here for?
Yeah.
Is to have
Get to know
interaction
them.
Right.
Community.
humans.
Exactly. But
Right.
that's where they had to stop it, right? And stand
Right.
6 feet apart. Don't be in the heart space
Oh,
of
you should
people.
hear
Your
about the
heart goes
school.
out 6 feet.
When they started school again, my kids are
Yeah.
homeschooled now. I pulled them from the pump. They were literally in squares with tape, bouncing a ball,
Yeah.
and it was like every other kid got a ball because they didn't have enough balls.
Or did you see when
And
they
they
were in
couldn't
like
pass it to-
plastic,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
like zip up like the
Cubicle-
tent?
My son was having headaches, and he didn't tell me for after like months. And his eyes were always red, and he's like, "Mom, I have a headache every day." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Fucking what?" I didn't even
Rashes
think about
and
it.
Sometimes even.
And I said every day, and it was like been a month, and he's like every day, and I was like, it just dawned on me, like you're wearing them, he can't breathe. They're
Yeah.
running with masks
Yeah.
on, and so I bring it to
Yeah.
the nurse's attention, and she puts us on quarantine for 10 days, and I have to take him home.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm
So,
like,
Well,
Man.
Wilma Wooten was the health director at that point. She was, I called her Dr. Death, but she was
Yeah.
dealing
Oh,
with, she's
Dr.
a
Wooten.
sports medicine doctor and would tell kids to wear masks playing sports. I'm
And
like,
she said,
no.
right? She said, I haven't had this.
So you can pass
There's-
out.
There's over 100 students here, and I haven't heard any. And I said, they don't have the vocabulary. He's 8.
right.
How do they know that that they're having headaches?
Well, and that,
because
when
the
it's
mask.
front, yeah, they would never know. They're
And
just
so
thinking
I'm-
they're having a headache.
They were
Right.
giving out COVID vaccines at my daughter's school. She's in middle
What?
school and letting.
Well, they
them
almost
out
were gonna
people's,
force the high school to do
parents.
They did that
My
in
son
other
was at
countries.
Madison,
They would
yeah.
bring them into like a coliseum type of a thing, and like the
Crazy.
parents couldn't
Yeah.
go in,
fuck
and it's
that.
like.
I think on my hat, my daughter was like, no.
Or people holding their babies while they shove that shit up there. I'm like,
no.
I would punch the shit out of somebody.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it's like
No.
they're just sitting there like holding the baby. I'm like, who the fuck
Yeah.
are you?
You're just blindly
So-
believing this shit, you
And
know?
another reason I pulled my kids.
Ugh.
So my daughter was going into kindergarten, and I was like, everything that I could do to keep her to let her go to public school without vaccinating. So I took her, and they wanted to pin her down.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
said, all right, now you've confirmed what disgusting, how corrupt this is.
Do you
And
think
she's
you looked at it
panicking.
from other eyes where you're
Right.
like, I'm holding my child down? What
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and when you
Why?
described
Yeah.
what I seen in her face
Yes.
and her eyes, the panic and the
Oh my
sweat,
gosh, yes.
that I was like, you motherfucker. That was another moment where I was like, these motherfuckers. I'm over it.
Yeah, I'm over school.
I'm
Arcadia's over a year, and I'm
over
kind
it.
of like, whatever. You
And
want
that
to-
brings me back to all these things and these synchronicities. How I asked you, the Melissa person,
Yeah, Melissa
Rady's.
O'Connor. Mm-hmm.
Rady's,
Mm-hmm.
and my son having surgery
Yes,
on his,
and their experimentation.
yes, and they're connected to
With
donations
children.
of Epstein.
Yes.
Oh, I bet they are.
And my
Everything's all fucking connected up.
I haven't gone there yet because I don't know
Wow.
if I'm prepared
Well,
to.
even like all the placentas and everything, everything's connected.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh well, and that reminded me. Even with the pricking of the feet and them doing those are satanic rituals, though,
Yep.
right? And so
Yep.
The
when
whole
we
of-
when
the-
you were talking about,
Yep.
but and I don't know why I'm thinking, but they'll even lie and say. So when we were in the hospital, where I was there with some whatever, they were saying that if you don't do the vitamin K. Or wait, is the eye stuff, right?
Yeah.
That if they could have a brain bleed, and I'm like,
Shut the fuck
they
up,
will
right?
get a brain bleed
From
from
that.
you doing that.
Yeah.
But it's like people just
Yeah.
like you just
blindly
it's
let it,
yes,
whatever.
and, but they think they're trying to save their child. So it's
Right.
like on the same token
Right.
of you going, no, this isn't, and you're fighting. They
Right.
just are not aware, and they
No.
don't want
Right.
to accept that because
Correct.
it's like, even after that man did that to me, and he admitted it, my dad did not
Right.
believe it.
Yeah.
So it's
Right.
like, dude, he admitted himself.
Right.
You know what I mean? But he's
Yes.
like, I just don't know. And it's like, because he doesn't want to know.
Right.
He doesn't want to say, I took my daughter there every
Yeah.
day,
Right.
and this was happening
And
over
realize it.
Right.
and over and
Right.
over again. And she came to me, and I didn't do anything about it. So it's like, he has to reconcile with that. And I'll tell you, after 40 years,
I was going to say,
Like,
how's he doing about that? I mean,
he finally was like, I am so sorry that happened to you. And I was like,
Oh.
Dad, what?
could you have been sorry?
Oh my gosh! I was
Yeah.
like, at least you're here. I was
I
like,
know.
because I don't have to defend myself and be like, so
Yeah.
you really think that didn't happen? He also wasn't sure if I was in a wheelchair or not, if I chose to sit there. Because I'm like, he's like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like if
She,
you were what?
she is a good actress.
I was like, do you know how hard that would be for 8 years? Like, at
Right.
some
I didn't
point,
just sit here for
somebody
8
would be
years.
like, oh gosh, she's walking. That's weird.
Yeah,
What?
I'm so
You know-
glad that you're able to.
Oh, you have
Oh
no
my
idea. God, I'm on.
Blessed.
That's why I'm like, God, whatever you want me to do, I am
Yes.
here
That's why
because,
you
like,
show up the way you do.
yes, well, I'm on borrowed time too. Like, I took
Yeah.
my life, He's given it back to me, and
Yeah.
like, I've had, been to hell and back, and I'm like, I see a different purpose. So I'm
Yeah.
like, use me while you can. I know that you're gonna, at a certain point, this time is going to expire, and I'm like, okay, well, I got a short amount of time, even if it's 50 years.
Yep.
Still short.
I don't
yeah.
have enough time to accomplish what I
Right.
feel like I need. So it's
The
like we're on
urgency.
it. Yes.
The urgency. And that's what I said to her yesterday. I said, at least my thumb won't be up my ass,
Yes.
and I didn't
Exactly.
do anything. And back to, I think this is amazing. This urgency is real for me.
Yes.
And so sometimes I feel like I don't know how to explain it, what that is, but I feel like it has to keep happening,
Mhm.
like on a certain time frame. Like it's not like now.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
yes.
this is why I feel like this is important, and doing it again, and like Tuesday and Thursday and Tuesday and Thursday.
Yeah.
That is how I feel inside, and it's hard to describe to somebody what that feels like, and discerning what is what, you
Right.
know, and how I best maneuver this information that keeps flooding me over.
Mhm.
It's overwhelming.
It absolutely.
It's extremely overwhelming.
Yes, I feel like, does my brain have the? And it's like it does.
It does.
It has way more than you are using right now. Believe
Well,
me.
and
I just feel like I don't
It's
know if
just
I can
a-
hold on to it.
I know.
right, and people that are, in my sense, in case of being like, oh, you know, you're
Right.
this, or you're using something.
Yes.
It's
Oh, people
always
call
a
me a meth head all the
Right?
time. It's
Oh well,
great.
I've been lately like hearing from like the
It's-
it's like people like that organization that
Like, I don't
meth
even
head.
care
You're not
anymore.
a meth head. Oh my
You know what I
god,
mean?
You
Like,
can't.
I don't.
you can't allow it.
And I said, you
Yeah.
have no idea what it's like. It's become
are
overwhelming,
terrible.
like because it's so loud, and because my husband's like, that's called schizophrenia. I'm like, haha, you know, dude. Like,
it's called
so,
being able to talk to myself, and I'm totally
Well,
like working
and it's-
things out together. I don't know what you're talking
but
about.
it's other than, it's not even working it out with myself. It's information.
Guys, yeah, coming
It's
in.
deciphering what is what,
Mhm.
and what deciphering that information. And so that's hard to explain to
Somebody
someone.
called me a meth head
But
recently
also
too.
connecting the dots with everything,
Yes.
because all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, well.
And I
mean,
was like, that was like 11 years ago.
Right.
I don't
Right.
know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't do
And-
drugs like that anymore. But yes, I did.
It's-
Okay.
Right. I'm like, I don't even care anymore. Yeah,
No,
you
I
see
don't.
this body because it's overwhelmed. It's really overwhelmed, and when you have kids in your ear, but it's connecting the dots. Like, that's what I said, for the love of God, please help me, you know, hear better or connect the
Yeah.
dots, or what are you trying to, it's
Well, and
deciphering.
sometimes you have to wait because you don't.
Right.
It's not the right time,
Right.
and then later it'll be like, oh shit.
Right,
Okay, well,
Right.
cool. But that's why you kind of gotta take and let it go in a way.
right.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
still take it in, but don't go, I need to figure out what this is for.
Right.
Like, it will come.
It
And-
If
and
you just
surrounding-
open yourself up to it, too.
Right, and surrounding myself with people that I can have this language with
That's
too,
right.
that will help me do the best that I can and let me say these
Yes.
words or use this language so I can better do that. But then, like I said, I messaged you about the Rady's children,
Yes.
and I haven't done any research. My son had surgery on his skull. He had a cyst, and it was growing inward.
Okay.
And he did have surgery at
Recently?
No,
Oh.
2000. He was baby. He's
Okay.
19 now.
Okay.
But this woman started coming up on my feed, and they were talking about Rady's children and
Melissa O'Connor.
and doing
Preservers.
what do you say, experiments on brain and brain
Children,
tissue
yeah.
in children. And my son had surgery at Rady's during
That's fine.
this period of time, and so I messaged her.
Mm.
I said, "What is this something I should look into?" And she
Yeah.
said, "Absolutely."
I was like,
But I haven't gone there yet because I don't know.
well, and maybe it's going to be hard for you to
Right.
to go
and
there
it could be
as well.
nothing. And it could be nothing.
Sure.
But it
but
affects
still.
me in the way of even if
knowing that they're doing
I'm correct.
things like that.
Well,
And
and like you feel guilty, pray. Like,
Absolutely, I
Sure.
feel guilty for giving them vaccinations, but I started thinking, and your mind starts leading you down doorways, you know. And he did have MRIs that I don't know why I didn't say, why can't I be there? MRIs and CAT scans where they took my baby,
right.
you know.
Oh, yeah, that's.
But you know what I mean? Like, I was at Rady's.
Yeah, but it's like, who knows? Like,
And
I
you're
just feel like
right.
people trust their. I'm like,
They
where are
do.
you going?
Yeah, what do you do with my baby?
What the
And why does he come back look like,
Yeah.
you know,
But-
like where he's jumping into my arms?
Well,
'Cause I was
especially a
nurse.
CAT scan is like, g'day, g'day. I mean, those things. I mean, they do give
I've
you.
had to have so
But
many.
they probably put something like this on. They're not sure if it's really.
Right.
But I mean,
And
it
I
is.
didn't
You're in a tunnel. It's like.
Right.
Yes, real.
Right, and so he ended up being, I think I told you, speech delayed
I bet.
for a long
right.
time. Like, he had an IEP all the way through, and I honestly feel he was traumatized.
For
I
sure.
mean, when I handed him over to the nurses,
Yes.
it wasn't like a
No,
evil
but you're
person.
not-
And they seemed like, you know.
Sure.
But it's
Of
safe
course,
with them.
Satan masquerades as an
Right.
angel of
Thank
light. He
you.
will sell you heaven, and you'll end up in hell. But he'll come to you and be like, "Hey,
Oh yeah, your best friend, everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
giving you everything you are.
And
Like,
so when
very
you're a
good.
baby, I mean, he's 9 months old, so he can hold his head, you know.
sure,
But
but
still.
Jumps into your, and clings onto
Guys,
you.
something
And
happened.
you know, whether they were doing anything.
Well,
bad to
just
him,
whatever
but
it was
just the
traumatizing.
Right.
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
And but he had to have that removed.
Right.
because it grew through his skull, so it was going to attach to brain tissue if they didn't remove it, and eventually it would have, you know.
Well, it's interesting. You're gonna have to one day do some.
I will.
research around that
I'll
when
go
you're ready.
there
It'll be
because it
okay.
has to be. It has to be exposed.
For sure.
And so certain things I have to understand that I accept that happened
Yes.
to me,
Correct.
to my family, because exposure needs to happen.
Yes. Yes. Well, and like we've been entrusted with these things happening to us that it's our duty to do
Correct.
something with it and
Yeah.
not, you know, because they like to make people go like, you got to just lock yourself away and go away. You're crazy, you know, instead
Right,
of,
yeah.
no, we should be talking about these things openly. Like even like if the family gets it there, oh, we shouldn't talk about that. What do you,
Right.
oh my God. And so we're conditioned along the way.
Right.
Even like in school, I remember we were supposed to do an opinion paper, right? And then they're like telling me my opinion's wrong, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is
It's
weird.
right.
It's like art, and they're like grading it, and they're like, you got an F on that. It's like, if this is art, I
Right.
mean, isn't
How
that
could I have an
subjective,
F?
first of all?
Yeah.
But like, why is it, who's to say what is good and what isn't at that point?
Right.
But like, if you're asking my opinion and you're telling me it was wrong, and it was about like whether or not people should wear uniforms in school or kids. And I
Right.
was like, no. I was like, that's sick. And she's like, what do you mean? Like it has the flu? And I was like,
Girl, don't be a fucking.
no, I'm just saying
Meaning
like that's
that-
disgusting
Yeah.
that we would all have to conform and
And
like
where the
let
same
everybody
thing.
be themselves kind of a
Right.
thing. But she's like telling me that, and it's like, what are we doing here? So that was like a very
Defining moment.
open,
kind
yeah,
of.
because I'm like, what?
wow.
So I started to see like what they were doing, but it's like those opened my eyes along the way to the little bits of going,
Right.
there's something wrong.
Right.
And I always felt that as a kid, I was like, there's something off. And I was like, I don't understand what it is.
Right.
And then now I'm like, oh my gosh, it makes so much sense.
So much.
I didn't know, but they don't want us to
They don't
know.
Right.
want you to know.
Right.
They want to shut you up if you know and be like, you're crazy, okay?
Right.
And it's like, what?
Right.
No, you are. You guys are psychopaths.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like, I would, if I'm
Right.
crazy in this world, woo woo,
Yes.
good. Because
Right.
it's the opposite of, you know, it's like in virgin land. So,
Well, and using this language, like I said, I don't think I'm special. As in, that's how I feel like when I'm trying to explain certain things to people. When I say I've been called to bat.
Yeah.
For
For sure.
I don't think I'm like some
Right.
superhero, because you have, like you said, they have no idea what it's like when you're put through these tests that make you question your reality.
Yeah.
And it affects your heart. Like, now I'm going to start researching if my baby in 2007 was poked in a certain, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like with their brain, and watching these certain behaviors that had taken place with him,
Right.
you know,
Like looking back and going,
Bing,
oh, wow.
bing,
Right.
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to open that door.
Yes.
And am I going to like what I
No.
see, whether it happened to him
Right.
personally or not? But I have to go there for other
Yes.
people.
Yes. It's not going to be easy.
It's not-
It's going to be very difficult.
It's not heroic to me, and
Because
I
it's
don't
still
think I'm
happening,
special.
so you need to.
Correct, and it did happen. That's
Yes.
for a fact,
Oh, it's devastating.
and that the dots connect to a sick motherfucker.
Yeah.
And that we
But
hold
Brady
these.
is so bad. Like, they're the ones doing all those child mutilation surgeries, like, experimenting with that, right?
Right, and that it goes so far that we're using Epstein donations to this motherfucker, and I don't care how respected people were anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it was
when
all
it comes
facade anyway, so it's
when
like,
we talk of names
Yeah.
of these people that give these donations,
mhm.
that it goes all the way, like Epstein is donating to Rady's, to this head person. I'm over it.
Yeah.
I'm over it. And nobody wants to talk about it really,
No.
and say names.
Well, and part of, I think that how they can get away with the part of this is that it's so atrocious, the things that are in those files, like
Yeah,
eating
it is.
babies and like usually they're the breast milk in their intestines that taste like cream cheese.
Right.
You know what I
all of
mean?
that, Yeah.
It's so outrageous that I feel like that's how they can go, like, it's just a bunch of nonsense.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they don't really, like, there's no way they're going to believe that
They
we're
could
doing,
have
like,
really
that
did
kind
that.
of stuff. You know what I mean? So, in that, people do discard it. And they're just like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
No.
Right. It's
Like,
too
Of
much.
course they are.
Some guy was, like,
And we shouldn't
passing
have
out.
to.
No.
But our human minds.
It
kick in.
does.
Right.
Because you
It-
can't, you don't understand the world. That's what I'm saying. When you understand where we're at, it's like, oh, that makes sense that does happen 100%. Like,
Yeah.
I have no
and it's been
doubt.
happening from the beginning
Of time.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And this
You
is
know?
where we come in as well because the
Yes.
it's collapsing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I take it personal as a personal job
Oh, for sure.
to
Yes.
help the rebuild of what we want
Absolutely.
to look
You
at.
have to like be lamplighted.
And it's it's a trip. It's a trip that is happening.
You know,
They say it's the greatest time to be
It
a
is.
human.
I feel it. Like,
It really, that's what, even though it feels fucking not real.
it can, yeah.
It doesn't
And it
feel
can be
unreal.
horrific. Like, I don't, like, again, I don't want to
This
talk
is
about
horrific,
these
right?
things.
Me neither.
But
I wanna
because
just
we're
crush
here, we got a mission. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got a job to do.
because
And
so
it's
many
like,
people do not talk about it.
No.
I mean, it is crazy to me how many people do not talk about it at all.
Well, I always like say that this is a period in time like when how we talk about Atlantis.
yeah.
They're going to be talking about this time somewhere else in the near
Yes.
not
Yes.
near, but far somewhere
Right.
where this civilization are we going to fucking collapse? Like when we talk about Atlantis, when we talk about fucking Babylonia,
Mhm.
Yeah.
where are we in this? That's
Right.
where we're at.
Yeah.
For real. It's a trip.
I know. It's everything is inverted though. Like that's where you can
Right.
see it. So it's like, but it's a good gauge. That's why I try and teach people like how to
Right.
navigate this realm.
Right.
When
And-
they're telling you they are doing this for that, all you got to do is look around and go, okay, no,
Right.
that's not true. It's
Well, like you
complete
said,
opposite.
energetically observe, reject.
Yes.
Right? I mean, I
Right.
really believe
Yes,
that.
don't participate.
You could even
No.
sit on your fucking couch and just absolutely don't participate, energetically reject it. You
Sure.
know, I mean, vibration is so real. Like, if you're not
Right.
somebody that wants to come out and talk about it, at least reject it. You at least know that the fear and that's going on is real. You know.
Well, that's why even talking to these people, I'm like, I'm pushing back against your false truth.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, I
Boom.
can't sit here and
Boom.
let you say that without me going, nuh-uh.
No.
Nope.
Okay? And
Yeah.
you don't like it, so obviously
Too bad,
it means
yeah.
that it's true.
Right.
Because you're terrified of the truth.
Yeah.
That's why even like during COVID, Nathan brought forward a misinformation panel with a bunch of UCSD doctors
Mm.
that would, every time there was a meeting for like an hour or two, go and combat all of the truth that we were speaking and being like, it's a pandemic of the unvaccinated, like trying to push
So
their
they
agenda.
were-
And I'm like,
oh
you
my
guys
God.
are so terrified about
Yeah.
it. But you're saying that we're lying. And it's
Right.
like, lies don't matter. They
Yeah.
don't. It's the truth that is so damaging.
Right. And shit's about to get wild.
I'm so glad all of us knew not to take that vaccine.
Well,
I mean, just because in our hearts, even, you know.
and I
just
feel
knowing, like, there
bad
was
for
a-
people who
I feel
did.
too. I do because
I really do because we don't know what's coming down the
we
line.
don't know what's going to
What-
happen.
I mean, this is my kids are. I have teenagers, and I said, now you're going to have to ask. They're not sexually
yeah.
active. Have you had the vaccine
Right.
before you procreate, or that's what I'm telling them.
Yeah.
Right, because it does.
Because you don't know what's going to come
Yeah.
down if you choose a partner. That's
that's a whole
been-
other
It's
thing.
coming back
Energy,
into
you
it.
are going to
yeah.
have a child potentially. Do you know of only 15% of the whole world didn't get vaccinated,
That's crazy. Right.
and some of us are our
Is that
age.
real number, huh? 50%.
You know, like I'm not. I don't want to reproduce any. Procreate.
Yeah, I can.
But how many? It's amazing how many people
15%
did get it, though. That's
I mean,
why.
I'm not-
That's a blindly just.
And it
Oh.
should. It's a crime. And this is another thing. That was a fucking crime against humanity. And
It's
I'm not
genocide.
forgetting. I
It's
won't
genocide.
forget. Yes. And it should be fucking held accountable. And this is what we're here
But
to do.
they're not. But that's like the Epstein stuff.
Yeah.
It's like where's Dr. I mean, they even talk
Yeah.
about doing all these crazy experiments with dogs, with kids, like
They
whoever.
have pictures. They have evidence. So we're here to keep it alive.
Yeah.
To fucking bring down
That's
the.
right.
I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to be a hero. I'm not.
No, we're just trying to expose the truth and have people like listen and wake
I
up.
just wanna
It's time
live.
Wake up.
We just want to live.
Yeah.
And
Our
the
kids
powers that may be are trying to
They
rob
always
us of
Stop
that.
that.
And I don't, it's so weird. Like, what the fuck are we even talking about? It doesn't even seem fucking real.
Well, yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like,
poisoned our food.
when you start thinking about it, like,
nanobots coming out of the sky, getting
It doesn't
I know,
sound
it
real.
seems like a movie that you're gonna watch and be like, oh my gosh, did you see that episode?
right?
yeah,
Can you believe it? These people are so stupid. Like,
right?
I mean, I feel like when they were, because with COVID, they started doing anal testing. I was like, I can see
What
these people being
the
like, let's
fuck?
see how many people will bend over and do an anal test.
fucking.
Not
And people were.
people
I was
were.
like- but then remember, monkeypox even came out. They were
Oh,
doing
yeah.
anal, vaginal, and oral swabs. I went
Come
to the
on.
mall and was going to ask the guy for one of the tests, but he didn't have. I don't think he had the
Oh, God.
monkeypox. I was like, "You got the monkeypox?" Because I was going to ask for an anal test. I just feel like it's the most, accurate.
Yeah, yeah.
And but he was like, no, he was like sleeping on the thing. But I was like, see, just you can have fun with
It's
it.
so
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But
right.
like,
with it.
but
Right.
it's nuts.
But
Right.
it is not. Well, and
Well,
the
it's-
new virus that just came out, but
Hanta.
That's not
but
new.
It's not Hanta.
That's not new.
It's from mice.
Oh, it's from my.
Right.
But it
That's-
deteriorated pretty fast because people are like, "Fuck this."
Did you see the whole the ship and
It's
everything?
so
They're like,
Oh
my God.
yeah, and they all
And they have
escaped.
all the vaccines and the,
But then the people
And
on
the
board, like the
boosters.
workers, never got off to get tested. It's a fucking, like you said, it's inverted.
Yeah.
It's
it's so funny though when you watch it because it's funny. I'm
It's
like,
so stupid.
this is like a comedy show.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I was
And-
like, it's crazy
Right.
what people believe, and they just, oh my god. So it's funny to it. Literally, I'm
Right.
like, it's actually exciting
Right.
when you go. You don't have any weight over me.
Even
It's
my
just
kids are like,
people are
Mom, did
dying.
you see this? And
So
I'm
it
like,
sucks.
yeah. And
Yeah.
they're like, kind of stupid, huh? I'm
Right?
like, yeah.
See?
And she's 8.
Yes.
Well,
She's
and people are
fantastic.
believing all the things they
But it's-
listen to, and it's like, oh my gosh, you are not even
It's,
listening.
it's on the news. That means it's true.
Right.
Like my grandma
And
used to say that all
so,
the
well, how
time.
many, when it comes to disclosure, if we're going
Yeah.
back to UAPs and
Yeah.
what lives in what realms,
Yes,
you know.
dimensions,
Oh, yeah.
not other planets.
right?
Interdimensional.
Interdimensional.
Correct.
Transhuman.
That's where I feel like I went into another dimension
Yes.
when I was going
Yes.
through that because it was
Yeah.
like it went black and I'm like, this is it's
Yeah.
weird.
I for a fact understand what, and that's like what.
but
made
but it
me
doesn't mean you're elsewhere. It's just
No,
it's
it's
a
just-
very weird.
right.
Yeah,
it is
you gotta
weird.
like figure it. It is very
And at
weird.
8 years old, I didn't have that language for that.
No.
Yeah.
And it tripped me out, and so like I started tucking these things away, and then
Mhm.
it was time
Well,
for them
yeah.
to come forward.
The festers.
What? That's hard to explain. They're multi-dimensional, interdimensional.
Yes, beings.
They're all
What?
kind of together. Yeah.
That they
Well,
want to call
there's-
aliens. They
Correct.
call them aliens.
And,
they're from other
there's
planets.
other right,
Right.
and there are that are
Demons.
for worse that are not for the human.
They're not human.
Right, but
But they
they're
mixed with human.
right.
Mixed with
But there are ones that are here to. It's like we're on a stage.
Sure.
That's how I feel. And intervening, there are ones that want to intervene because we have what they don't
Sure.
and what they
Yes.
want.
Yes,
They
that's
are
why
so
they are
young.
trying to corrupt us.
and
Correct.
take our consciousness. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
right, and then there's the others that are here that I feel that tell me and push me a certain direction. I mean, that people need to understand that is
Yes,
It
but
for-
people don't take in the spiritual aspect of it.
Right.
Right.
So they look at, oh, there's some other being that
Yeah.
we're looking for in some other planet that's
The
going to give
aliens.
us
and
all
that's
that.
what they're inverting
Yes.
towards us. And
Yes.
the military complex and
Oh, yes.
those powers maybe also understand this. And
Oh,
this
yes.
is what needs to be in conversations now for me is an urgency and how it all interweaves within the county, the
Yes.
city, and whether our leaders in the county or the city that sit on the dais are even having thoughts about that.
Right.
Well, they're trying to take away our divinity and who we are. You know,
Right,
that-
but
that-
when we
that
have these
connection.
bodies that
And these leaders that just
But how deep is this? Where do the veins start being fed?
Well, okay, so I also think, because in the Bible it talks about giving people over to a reprobate mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one thing I said to Sandak, because I was like, this is why you don't get it. It's
Mm-hmm.
because you have been deprived of that because you chose to go into all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've been given over to it.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you can't see outside
Correct.
of it.
Right.
Right.
Right? So I
Right.
was like, and they were all
That is-
kind of, I was like, you guys always look at me like I'm deer in headlights sometimes. And I was like, I think that's why, because
And it even says
you cannot
once,
see.
right,
Yeah,
and
you're
once
too
you
involved
step
inside of
into
it.
that realm, it makes it easier for them to take, you know,
Of course.
take part of what you don't want to see.
Sure.
So once you get in that governmental body, and so it's like I have these connections that I feel like when I'm looking at certain specific people on the dais or whoever I'm interacting with in, I want to say city officials, county officials, I have these eye and eye connections where I know they feel
Yes.
my energy,
Yes.
and they don't. I don't.
They're
say,
not sure what to do with it almost.
Right, and it almost makes them uncomfortable.
Yes.
I can feel, I can see that,
But
and
they
then
can't
almost
help but,
they can't.
look at you.
Right, and then it's like they don't know how to deal, and then they
Yes.
look away, and then the conversation kind of gets, and then it's
Yes.
so.
But it's not all of them. Usually it'll be one or two. Sometimes
Yes.
it, like at Sandag, I've gotten, and I think the more you continue to do it, but like, it's all of a sudden they're all like, what are they? You know what I mean? Like
Here
they're
she
just
comes,
staring,
what's
like they're not sure, and then but they're like, they're paying attention to the whole time because they're like, dang. And I'll really like lay into them sometimes,
Right.
but it hits them in a weird way. That
Right.
I'm not like they're gonna go home and cry or anything, but they're like,
no,
they
it's
really got to
there's
them.
something that
That's
makes
why
them
getting a person is.
Yes.
Sometimes they just don't
Yes.
change a lot though, because you know they're worried about like the public too. You know,
They are, but you still
You-
get to these
Yeah,
people.
you do.
But that's you
They're
have to
humans. I'll
really
have to come.
start really
Yeah.
because that's why
In
my
person.
kids are like I want them to
Because I'm
come.
in Oceanside, so it's a little different.
Yeah,
you know.
I'm
Yeah, it's a
so
small.
yes,
It's a
Oh, you
small.
are? Okay.
Yeah, it's a long
You
drive.
driving Fallbrook
All right,
every
you're doing
day?
it. I can do it. Okay.
Fucking A! I
We
didn't
could
know
carpool
that.
Maybe sometime too.
Look at that's a fucking soldier
I mean,
right
I like
there.
being by myself, but but
Yeah.
I like people too.
Fallbrook and drive every day. Well,
Yeah,
I don't say every.
Yeah, but
Yeah, whenever that's a
Yeah.
that's a trap.
Well, because you know it's needed.
Gas.
It's needed. You know.
Yeah,
wouldn't
no,
be.
it is needed.
yeah, but
It
it's
is
like
needed.
I mean, yeah, gas and like now their new road usage charge I want to bring down. That's going to be
Dude.
like $5,000 a month.
Per
Or a
mile,
year.
like a
Well,
tax.
yeah. I'm like,
it's
what?
Right.
What
this
are you
is
talking
Can we expand our 15-minute
It's so
zones
stupid.
and say that an hour is 15 minutes? Is
Yeah.
that cool? Like, because we
Well, they're
changed the
a
definition
mile.
of stuff.
They're
I
trying
know.
to bring in the mile tax.
Yeah, the
Oh,
vehicle miles
really?
traveled. Yeah,
Girl,
they
that's
bring
what I'm
that
saying,
into
people-
everything. I'm surprised you
Right.
don't even know what the housing stuff. Like they're like, what is we mitigating with vehicle? I'm like, none of that matters. You guys are full of shit. This data doesn't even.
It's so stupid.
It's not even real because they'll be like, you can. It's like buying and selling air. I mean, like me to you.
Yeah.
You want a couple of my breaths? I'll give you. You know, you can give me $50 and I'll give
Oh
them a
my
couple,
God.
and you wouldn't be able to. Do you know what I'm saying?
right,
But they're
right.
like acting as though even carbon credits exist. It's similar to that
Wow.
where they're like, okay, if you're not going to mitigate the vehicle miles traveled within your project, you can buy credits.
Yeah.
Okay, and we can
The
like
one
you can
slur.
pay a fee.
What
That's
movie
why
is
it's
that?
like money like over fixing it.
It's
Like
Right.
well, if you can't do that, well, yeah, we'll go ahead and take your money and then
I
we'll
just
put it
rolled it.
towards the projects by putting in all the roundabouts
Sure we
and
will.
all the
Yeah,
shit that's
yeah.
making it impossible
So
for you to
stupid.
leave. I'm like,
It's
you
a
guys
fucking-
know, and even Tara said the vehicle miles travel, we don't have anything that it's not substantial. Like it doesn't really tell us anything. And I'm like, but you guys continue to do it, and you
Right.
take forever creating it. That's why all of those environmental reviews,
Dude.
all the bullshit that they go through, and it's like 20 years later,
Costs how
we
much
got a
more
house,
money later?
and I'm
right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, in 2030 we'll have these new
Millions of
affordable
dollars.
housing.
you go to other countries
What
and they're
the
building
fuck
a
are you
bridge in a
talking
week.
about?
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly, and I'm
And
starting to get pissed.
housing, and you know, yeah, me too.
I'm like, it's so fucking ridiculous.
It's annoying
Why
because they're
just
like, we
spend
need
some-
more money from you to get full cost recovery for whatever we're providing. I'm like, you're not providing shit.
Yeah, what are you
And you keep
providing?
giving everybody raises, but it's like,
Where's
you know,
the,
people are just like, they almost are okay with it. They're just like, well, they need it. They need more money because they need to do that. And I'm like, what do they do with the money that they were supposed? Okay, the $5 billion of storm infrastructure
Yeah.
that needs to be fixed in the city of San Diego.
Right.
$5 billion.
Dude,
well, look at all the billions that again, the homeless
It's
is such a
stupid.
hard one to talk, but they don't even build anything for the homeless.
Of
Well,
course
and-
not.
and
They
twenty-
get to watch them
and-
build it.
But
In
the
2030,
CEOs, they
hoping.
make money.
in 2030 or 20, I'm like, really? We're 2026 and it
Well, you
takes
know, I
7
worked
years.
I
But
worked
they're permitting, so they're like,
It's-
no, we're permitting. I was like, you guys are counting shit. You're not building enough.
Yeah,
No,
shut
we
the fuck up.
permitted
Right. I'm
this, and I
right.
was like, that doesn't mean anything.
No.
You guys, but people will take that data and
Word
be like,
salad.
we're
Word
building.
salad. Yeah.
We're building.
I think one of the hardest things when I worked with the ERF and I'll just say, you know, the encampment resolution where, you know, we're putting people right into places.
Yeah.
This is
I
where she
worked
fell
on that, so I worked on that for like
at the
that's where I
Lemon
fell
Grove
down the
for
encampment.
these little homes.
Oh,
They
yeah.
tried the Troys?
I fell down.
Oh,
well,
shit.
I was right off
Sorry,
Lemon
I
Grove
have to-
Boulevard, but I fell down this hill and tripped on this chain link fence. But one of the things, and I started questioning, and maybe that's why they didn't. I was
Oh, yeah, you
inconvenient.
can't question.
Right. And I
Don't
was
you
like,
dare.
well, but you know, I'm an advocate, right? So I'm like, what are we doing here? I go, we're taking people right off the streets and we're putting them into houses that are, or converted motel rooms that don't even
Right.
have kitchens,
Yes.
that are $1,500, and they only have 11 or 0 money. And these funding is going to run out in 2 years. So you're saying their house. So I started questioning. Of course, I was fired a couple months later.
Right.
Oh
What the-
snap!
What?
Real. I just
But
got
what
an
the
email.
fuck, though, right? What the fuck with that?
My
That's all I'm
name-
saying.
Good afternoon. My name is Elizabeth, and I'm a social worker with the County of San
Oh.
Diego Health and Human Services
Uh-oh.
Agencies of Office and Homeless Solutions.
No.
OHS
Oh.
program provides resources and information to supportive services for individuals experiencing homelessness or at risk. Could you give me a call back at this phone number? Thank you. Elizabeth Alvarado. What does that mean?
What does she want? She wants like your opinion about
I don't-
something?
social-
Wants to collect some
what's-
data.
Social worker number 3. What does that mean?
What does that even
Number
mean?
3.
Well, like 3. Her. I got
Oh,
pro-
maybe
pro-
she's a third. Maybe she's
yeah,
the
like
Elizabeth
office and
third.
home. No,
Oh.
well, I think that's what her label or title is.
So anyway, she's calling you to ask.
I mean, it's an email, but I don't like that.
Yeah, well, that's what they do. They want to.
Mine, right? And this is the thing: is that I don't want to be caught in the system.
Oh, they
It-
want you to be.
Right.
But
And
they're
so-
going to say
and so
we
what
want
does
you to be
this mean?
self-sufficient.
And
Of
how
course.
did you get my information?
We're going to teach you. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't know you. I've never. What's
Ask them.
OHS?
Be like, how did you?
OHS
Should I call
is
right now?
what?
That's the county.
Should I?
It's the
I know.
county,
yeah.
So are you trying to catch me a fucking case, dude? You know what I
I don't
mean?
know,
Like
I mean-
that's how I am now, and that's why I started pulling my kids. And I don't ever like really. I only talk to my caseworker that was originally assigned to me. How I got this voucher, So I found. I don't know if you knew this. I found a reporter after they took our
Good.
RV.
Maybe.
You know Lisa
Right.
from Voices.
Lisa Halberstadt.
Okay.
She did this. You know what?
I don't know.
Well,
Maybe.
she works at Voice of San Diego.
Okay. I might have seen her.
Yeah.
But now she does the county stuff.
Yeah, so I
She
probably have
reported.
seen her. I'm just not aware of her name.
So they took a RV and it was 6 of us in a van, homeless, living.
Right.
People just, I'm like, I can't save money. You're hitting me with tickets
Yes.
over and over and over. And I was
So insane.
gonna come after the city because you're fucking me.
Mhm.
You're fucking with me. You're fucking with my kids. I'm fucking over it. How can you keep giving me tickets? Now you've ruined my credit. I
Of
was
course.
saving money. You
They got to
took,
keep you in that
right.
space.
You
to
took
keep
my
that.
RV was the last of my assets because I had it. I had all these.
Well, that gives you free. Yeah. Sorry.
So
And put you into their program.
yeah. So I was like, oh motherfuckers, So I started doing research and I was like, oh, the Voice of San Diego, they're non-profit. Like they don't.
Right.
They don't own. They're not owned by anyone.
Right.
She followed me for 3.5 months and busted a story.
Yeah.
Because I had written Todd Gloria over several times. Like
yeah.
emailed him
Yeah,
over and over and over.
Gloria, that's
I
right.
said,
Todd Gloria.
and I never got a response.
He made
And
those
so,
music videos.
yes, I seen it. It was
And
bizarre.
also, I'm a single lady.
I didn't see all
Oh
of
my
it.
gosh.
Put a ring.
It was kind of.
If you like it, put a ring.
It was kind of. It was hard to watch.
It was very difficult, but I had to bring that up because I
I'm
was
glad
cutting
you
the
did.
arts, and I was like, "You
Yeah.
gonna make another music video? You're probably thinking ALPR and calling it I don't give a fuck."
Right. Well, she did she followed me for 3.5 months and a photographer.
Nice. Good.
And was showing people like this mother of 4 is homeless with her kids, taking them to school. Her husband works.
Yeah.
I can't go to work. I'm gonna leave my kids in the car.
Right.
So when we do this, like, doesn't make any sense. And I didn't tell I wasn't when they were still in public school when it opened back up. Wasn't telling the school. So what?
Of
You can
course
catch me a
not.
fucking
But that's what they want.
CPS
That's why they
case?
send
You
you.
motherfuckers.
They're sending CPS to homeschool.
Yes, they are. It's crazy what they're doing.
I'll be damned. That's what I said. You guys have fucked with the wrong bitch. And people should know their rights and their laws.
That's
And what
right.
and I've told other people too. You are not allowed in my no, thank you. You're not allowed in my house.
No, people think
Ever-
that you have to let them in.
Yes.
It's
I know,
like
you do
quit
not.
inviting them in. Say
Right?
fuck off.
It's like they're vampires.
So I'm saying anybody who if
Yes.
HHS or like CPS you know, comes after you or anything with Health and Human Services, the director, well, she's the interim, which I was like, oh, does that mean you're gonna go? They're gonna have another HHS director at some point.
Right.
It was director and then it went to deputy or interim, whatever.
I should
Elizabeth
call her right now.
Hernandez. And then CFWB, which is the CPS, but it's known as Child and Family Wellbeing, is
Yeah.
Alfredo Gardado. So if anybody comes to you from CPS, you say, I want to talk to Elizabeth and Alfredo. I'm not talking to anybody else. And then, or you could just be like, can you have Audra show up as well? I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. But you always take it to the top because
Yeah.
they don't like that. And that's how you really, you know,
Well, I don't
shape
like the
them.
name social worker. I don't
Exactly,
even
because
like.
it's a socialist program worker.
Well, and should we call her right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Should we?
See,
Let's see what she has to say.
and then
but I
and
have
be
to- I
like,
have
is
to
your
ask-
boss
Put it on
Elizabeth
speaker. Let's see what she has.
Hernandez?
Wait a second. I will put it on speaker. Do I have to say this is being recorded? This is crazy.
No.
I don't.
Nah. Well,
I mean, I don't know if that. What the,
Doesn't matter. I
Doesn't
mean,
matter. We're
it's
just
you're
listening.
just having a phone call.
yeah, what's this about?
and this,
You're
this,
not recording
and
it.
this is there's certain things like I'm talking about. Like all of a sudden
I mean,
this
it's
pops
live.
up. Right.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
Okay. So
I mean,
I'm
if
calling
you
Health
want,
and
you
Human.
can, but I would just have a conversation with her.
I would too.
Should I put it on speaker? Well,
Yes,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
But I
gonna
mean,
say,
we're just gonna be.
yeah.
But I would be like, yeah, I don't know.
So I'm gonna say I got an email.
Yeah.
I'm just calling you back. What does this pertain? You know.
Yeah, what are we doing here?
Hold on. Let me.
Do I need to talk to your boss, Elizabeth? I'm just kidding. I just like to do it because it.
Well, no,
fucks
that's
us up.
who's.
No, but Elizabeth Hernandez
Has
is
she
the
been the
thought.
boss for a while? now?
No, since December-ish, Kimberly Giardina was for several years, and then she quit.
Okay.
She didn't like me. I broke
Can
her
you call me
down.
back? 619.
I called her Kinsey, like the Kinsey Institute.
Yeah.
Yes,
Hey. You were
she's
just
a
being
child trafficker.
real.
I mean, I
Yeah.
was being
Hello.
honest. You know, and that's why they always go, don't speak to staff. I'm like, well, they're the ones trafficking children, and I'm not.
Absolutely.
I'm just telling you about it.
Yeah.
So then I
Okay,
play
ready?
video. Okay.
It says it's on speaker. Can you hear? Yeah. Can you?
Este mensaje se repetirá en español. Hello, you have reached Elizabeth Alvarado, Social Worker, County of San Diego Health and Human Services Agency, Office of Home Solutions. I'm away from my home. Please leave a brief message with your name. Please turn your phone number and I will return
I
your
don't
call.
even know if I have a case number.
My hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Oh,
Thank
it's
you.
4:50.
Hola, se llama Elizabeth Alvarado, trabajadora social del Condado de San Diego, Agencia de Salud y Servicios Humanos. Por el momento no estoy disponible.
It's from in Chula Vista.
Su nombre, número de caso y número de teléfono y la
Well, that's what the phone number comes up, and
de trabajo.
I don't have it. It's like my case number. I don't have it because I have a. Hi, my name's Natalie. I just received an email from you wanting to be in touch with you. I'm just curious, what's this about? If you can call me back at 619-760-4065. Thanks. As I just announced my phone number.
I'm like, you just said your phone number.
I mean, fuck.
Just
That's
kidding.
okay. Just, haha,
It's
wasn't
not.
her
I
number.
don't. She just likes to randomly say 5,
I
7,
mean, you
10.
can find anything out
Choo-choo.
anymore.
About anybody.
I know. Nothing is secure. People are like, oh my, I'm like, they're giving our data willingly with BlackRock and
Oh,
Vanguard
yeah,
owning everything
everything.
for real.
Everything.
And like, Larry Fink is Trump's money. It's like, and you
Yeah.
guys are worried about ALPR. I'm like, they are internally taking all the data
Everything.
and have a monopoly on all of these
All of it.
the software programs that like the government or any, and it's like they need that monopoly,
Yeah.
right? And then
Oh,
you can take everything to its knees. I'm like,
That's
you guys
right.
are so
Control it all.
stupid. You sit here and they're like, we gotta go against the billionaires that are doing. I'm like, or the corporations will say too, and I'm like, you guys are a corporation. Like
Right.
you're saying we're a corporation that are going to go after other corporations to really make sure you're not being
Oh, I
screwed.
Right.
Well, we screw
and
you.
so I looking at my other missed call
Oops.
because I went to legal aid.
Okay.
So if we want to, man, we could talk here forever. So I'm a registered Indigenous person of the United States. From my understanding and doing my research when it comes to HUD, because this is really a HUD problem from the beginning. How we have these
Yes.
generations
Oh, but it's
of generations and generations of families becoming homeless,
Yeah.
especially Native people. Nobody wants to talk about. What I thought was interesting at the county,
Their
they
home.
say these things on land that is not theirs.
Oh my gosh, I know.
And we have to give
all
names
their
and
land is-
respect, and
is
that
yours.
maybe one day we can create a world how they. It's
It's
a
like
fucking
going, I
joke.
stole your house. I'm just acknowledging
I
it
just stole all
by
your
letting you
land.
know every time I see you.
Yeah.
I just want you to know that I know this is your house.
That you-
Okay?
it's
I
belongs
just want to
you.
leave it out
Yeah.
there, but listen, you got to go because I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's like,
Right.
what does that do for us? And even at Sandy, they don't even have a voting seat, but they can sit there and give their opinion. You know what I mean? But you
It's so
can't vote.
disgusting.
They're like, but we're working on it. And I'm like, you guys are assholes.
This is
I was
stupid.
like,
It
and
doesn't-
why are you coming and begging that? Why are we letting anybody on to the reservations? Like, you guys are letting Satan into your house thinking that you're going to get more. You just gave the government, they
Yeah.
took your sovereignty.
Yeah.
As soon as you did that.
And we're working on it for how long?
Yes.
We're always going to be working on it.
So
That's the whole point.
it's such that word keeps popping
Inverted.
back in my head. I'm registered to the Creek Muscogee Nation. They are the first out of the 5 civilized tribes that is considered civilized.
Interesting.
That's how deep my
Yeah.
my ancestry goes. I have a tribal number.
Do you know that I was just found out that I'm related to Abraham Lincoln? He's my great 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 uncle on my
That is interesting.
my
That
grandma's
is
side.
Interesting. And you know he has.
But I don't
they-
know if I like that because he might be a you know what I mean? He might
Start
be
finding
a
stuff out
fallen
like-
angel.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know if
Well,
I want to
he
be
had
related
the-
to him.
anybody.
He was the president that had the mass,
DNA and
the
shit, I
mass
don't know.
hanging of the most tribal Native American.
He was
people.
terrible to them.
Yeah,
No, I'm not happy about it.
and he
It's
decided
not
to
like a good
hang
thing.
them all the most.
I
in
retract
one-
that. I am not related to him. I apologize.
But this is the thing.
I think I made Abram. Abram
Abram
Link.
Yeah, sorry, excuse me. No, but yeah,
So
he was terrible.
I'm going
Maybe
to be
we're totally
homeless.
unfair.
I don't really,
No,
I'm
you're
free.
not.
I'm
We're gonna do it. You're good.
They
but
want their whatever. And this is
right,
what's
it's
the
a
fear. Yeah.
yes. So it's interesting that all of a sudden I don't have a place to live. You know, they
Right.
put me in this loop.
Yeah, and then she's.
I am my genealogy. I have the number. I didn't make up this number. I have a card, you know, that's issued to
Yeah.
me with a roll number. If you look in the history and research, and the Muscogee Creek Nation is one of the 5
Yeah.
first, what they consider civilized. We have treaties. I even called my tribe, and since I'm not on the reservation, because they have, you know, jurisdictions, and they couldn't help me because I'm a tribal member. And the interesting thing when it comes to tribal members and each tribe you belong, they have their own rules, you
Yes.
know, and it also has to do with lineage and blood,
Mhm.
you know, how much blood you have. So
Right.
that gets
Yes.
interesting too, because they
Yes.
played this card, you know, when they played this card and corrupted tribes.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
sure.
They, like
Yeah.
literally,
For sure.
and how they run
Yeah.
their show, which
Yes.
is sad.
Yes.
You know, because they still have to play along with this bullshit,
Yeah.
even with their own
I
sovereignty.
know. But
And
it's
so-
not, because at that point when you're coming to Sandag like that, it's like you just brought. Why are you doing that? Or like,
Right.
you know, once you're thinking that like even ALPR will be on there.
Mhm.
And it's like, so you see, you're letting you're letting them deceive you further,
Right,
so they can encroach on what little property you still
Right.
have,
right.
and
Yeah.
you don't even see it. You think that they're trying to help and it's beneficial
It's-
because they are great at selling you shit. I'm telling you,
Absolutely.
they're fantastic. But it's like,
And also feeding you alcohol, making sure you're
Sure.
not okay. And
but
the
what they
drugs
present
and
to
everything.
people, it's like, why wouldn't you go? That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That
Right.
looks good, but I don't understand. You're trying to envelop me in all of this nefarious,
Yeah.
digital prison type of a thing. And
Right.
and by us having the sheriff come on here, you can no longer step outside of like, and then you're going to get
Mhm.
funding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All these
Mhm.
things where I'm like, man, our ancestors would be rolling in their graves, going, "What are you fucking doing?"
For
Yeah.
real. For real. So I started doing the research on history.
Yeah.
And I even said, like, how come nobody's saying HUD or calling to Congress? Like I said,
Right.
I contacted Sarah Jacobs. I said, this doesn't seem to be urgent to anybody. I have 4 children. My
It'd be
lineage,
urgent to them if they had people they knew were going through it, right?
Right.
well, like you said, would it be urgent if Tara, you know, like, you want to donate your baby?
Yeah.
You want to donate your home?
Yeah.
Because from my lineage, I was here first, motherfucker. And you just walked. They almost decimated. They walked people across the fucking country while they gave them, raped them, gave them disease. threw
Oh,
them with-
yeah, no. The way this country was started, I mean, let's just not.
That's
even-
what
And
I'm
then we're
saying.
here 250 years.
And it's
of
only been 2,
celebration.
yeah.
I'm all,
And it's 2026, and here I am. And that's what I wrote to the mayor when when they were fucking with me. I said, it's whatever year that was, 2022. And that's how I feel. You don't belong here. Because they kept pushing me and pushing me and pushing me. Excuse me, where am I supposed to go then? Right now, where do you want
And
me
what do
to
you
go?
mean you don't belong here? Of course you
Well, they
belong.
kept, no, they started putting up
But that's
signs.
what-
They were putting up signs where I was parking.
Oh, and you were in your
No, you're not allowed to
RV
park
and
it.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, purposely
Yes.
for you.
Well, and other
Or
people,
other people
too.
too,
Right, but
But,
Yeah.
because I wasn't moving. So then I finally went to Crown Point, and I didn't move anymore. They locked me in. They were locking us in, because we had 2 cars, you know. So we'd park one. You know where I'm talking about, Crown Point, that park down there
Yes.
on the bay?
yes.
And they have the,
Right.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
they lock, and they'd be like,
You
we're
can't drive
locking
back
them,
in.
and we're like, okay, finally, there was a couple of guys that constantly secured and locked the gates, and they're like, we're locking them, we're like, oh, they stopped ticketing me there, you know,
Which is good.
and they said, we're locking the gates, and we're like, cool, you know, we got the car up there if we have to leave, but we parked there because they went to school at Crown Point Elementary, and they had bathroom doors, which they're going to start locking all over now too. They had individual stalls at Crown Point that I could take my child into or my daughter could go into and not be, you know, locked individually, like with a lock
Right.
and a door and walls.
So many
At Crown
families are going through this right now.
You know?
It's so devastating.
And so that's why I like saying certain things that having a teenage daughter that starts her period, I'm sure she don't mind, you know, starts their menstrual cycle, and
Yeah.
you want to shut the, you know, this is what's happening right now.
Right.
So it's like I finally got a hold of legal aid because I'm doing all this research, and I'm like, how come nobody wants to? So I'm trying to press the issue with HUD, holding them accountable. The tribal doesn't want to help me. Legal, I feel like I have standing. It says it right here.
You're standing because you're fucking human, and you should be able to have some.
I mean, and that's a problem. The
Freaking live.
judicial, like all
Sorry.
of the
Right.
systems are set up to
Yeah.
protect their racket, not
Right.
not to
I
get
know, but
us
it
any-
says
yeah.
right here, and you'll show me it says right here to make me move or
Right.
make me go to jail
Right.
or try to put my fucking kids in the system, and that's the thing we have to go back to because this is some bullshit.
Mhm.
It's bullshit. I'm over it.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna fucking catch a case on me. So who was this? My
I know,
caseworker.
right?
I don't have a fucking caseworker that is at
Social
OHS
worker.
or whatever. Yeah,
Right.
social worker.
Office of Homeless Solutions.
I'm
Bullshit, the more like
right.
to create homeless. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Those are their
Yeah. So and I'm very passionate about what we're doing right here, and it's time to start fucking blowing people out of the water
Yes.
because I have fucking nothing to lose, and I have nothing. You know, I'm sorry if you do, but it's time to start fucking talking.
Yeah, but it's like
Let's-
slough off. Let's lose some stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
let's
people
do
are
it.
like want to hold on to this. It's like what?
Yeah.
What are you
Yes.
trying to hold on to? Let's like make
Right.
something better.
Well, and what are they going to do when all of us are? Because there's I don't know how many EHVs just within the city. That's why I said yesterday, like, oh, it sounds like everybody from the county that had an EHV got Section 8 vouchers. Well, what about the 700 and whatever the rest of us?
From
I'm
are those from the COC? The other ones are
No,
through
some are through the county and some are through the city.
the
Right.
city.
So everybody that had a VHV through the county got a Section 8 voucher.
Interesting.
Interesting. Yeah, I
Find a
don't.
place
I
to
didn't.
live.
I didn't. And so, like, for me, it's stressing people
Of
out.
course it is.
Like, my husband
course.
is like going into PTSD because who wants to do that again? You know,
Exactly.
it fucking sucks. He's 6'1". We're sleeping in a van with 4 kids. It is fucking 2023. Give me this is
Yeah.
we're not civilized at all.
No.
No, we're not.
It's-
We're not.
And to let people sit up there on the dais and act like we
Well, the
are,
majority
and that's
of them
what
don't
she
even know what
does.
the fuck they're doing, and they've never been through anything.
Well, that's why I say they have. It's easy to get a parasite in your brain,
Mhm.
Just to
and
think that,
and
yeah.
led them to believe that they are doing something that's good that's wrong.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
so that's why I'm making these connections and looking people in their eye,
Yes.
because that's what I'm set to do. And because my husband's like, Mary, why do you even go to? He's getting it's it's overwhelming because he feels like I'm investing in nothing.
Right.
And what are they going to do for us? And I can't even explain to him because like it's I take it personal because like, motherfucker, you don't know me by now. Like, where's my back? You know, give me something.
Right.
But he's so engulfed, and I don't even.
Well, it's fear. It's just fear of having to be back
It
out there.
is
It's a lot of
fear, and I can't.
you know.
It's hard to encourage someone or show when I don't have the notes or the backing or the for sure
Right.
why I'm doing this.
Well,
Where I don't have the ticket to show you like what I knowing
right. Here's
what I
my
know.
contract.
Right. I don't have the evidence or the proof. I can't say just because
Signed
I
it with my
know.
blood,
all the
sweat, and
receipts.
tears.
All the receipts.
I don't have
Where
the
are
receipts for you yet. And
Yeah.
so it starts getting in
Yes.
the trust of.
Just
And
trust
that's where
me,
the
yeah.
dark starts
Oh,
weaving
yeah.
into my fucking family.
Yes, because it will try to
Right.
put a wedge and
In your family.
So
And that's the-
confusion or distrust or there's another word I'm looking for and I can't think of it right now. But yeah, all those things where
And that's what it wants to do.
Mhm.
And that's where it's going to break is it's coming after my family.
Yeah.
of course.
You know what I mean?
Of course, because when you walk in this kind of a journey, it's like whatever you
That's the
want to
number
start darkness, like they don't want that. So
Right.
it's like they
It's-
will do everything in their power to dissuade you and try and throw you off course and be like,
Right.
do you really want to do this to your family, kind of a thing? And it's like, I'm doing this for my family, so
Right.
yeah, I'm not doing it to them. And they may see that like that at some point, but eventually they'll see the truth, and I'm willing to wait.
Me too.
Right.
I'm willing to keep showing up.
Yeah.
We gotta keep showing up, ladies.
That's right.
Let's do this again soon.
I know.
Okay.
Soon. And like I said,
Oh yeah, let's see about. Okay,
the
I'll let you know.
urgency of it has to be for me like more than it has to be right now. I feel like a continuous motion.
For
Does
sure.
that make
Yeah,
sense?
You have to keep going. You don't.
Yeah.
As in keep talking about it, not letting
It's
it
like
be off of momentum.
Mhm.
The urgency for us to keep pushing, like I said, from people that I follow and understand and with this stuff. Like there's this. Can people feel that? That's what I.
I mean,
Right.
not everybody.
Right.
I don't think.
But
I mean, not
this-
saying that they're incapable of it. They just don't.
A feeling
Now.
that
But if you
with
stay
all of
consistent,
it,
I think
right,
people start feeling it. You know.
that's what the word or calling that the urgency is that we have to keep.
Oh yes. Don't stop. Like
right.
don't be like and don't feel defeated if it's not going. Like
Right.
again, people just what's the point? It's like because you're not willing to understand this is a lifelong journey. It's not like you pick it up on Tuesday and you're done on Sunday.
Right.
It's like
Right.
no, every day this is the battle that we're in.
Right.
It doesn't go away.
And from my understanding is that here to help that fall be a little softer.
Yeah.
And leading people how we navigate because there's a new navigation system that's being. I don't know. It's hard. Like I said, it's hard to say sometimes what is coming at me and interpreting it to give the language to
Right.
people that it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming to give whatever this is a word.
For
So
sure.
that's keeps coming at me is that with consistency.
Yes.
Stay consistent.
So maybe
showing
on
up.
Thursday or Tuesday,
Yeah.
that we were brought to this space for a reason. I think
That's right.
I wanted people
we're
to
here. We can use the space. It's
And-
wonderful. We're
yeah,
grateful.
and clear up some ideas of how we perceive people and what we're here to do.
Right.
So
Yeah, we can always have another guest too if you know anybody that.
I know. Yeah, that would be exciting.
Yeah.
Even Consuelo.
yeah,
Yeah.
and who
Whatever.
we always have a spot. And I'm so grateful because whoever we Samantha Scholl, who gave us this opportunity to use this,
Yes, thank you.
Um,
for that.
Yeah.
She's right.
said, we met with her one time, and she said, have at it. I mean, that is, to me, she felt something.
Yeah, that's
And
yeah.
what
And
we
we
had
had to
to
be
say.
brave too, because I almost didn't call her because I met her through my organization I worked for.
right.
And then I was like, you know what? No,
Screw it.
no.
Let's do
I was
that.
like,
I'm
yeah,
giving
well,
her a
please.
call.
See, that's where the doubt comes in. It's the
Yeah,
doubt.
and I
that
allowed
little
it for a minute, and I'm
fester,
like,
yeah.
wait a minute, I have been powerful for the last 11 years out of all this.
Right.
Like, just because I work for somebody for a couple of years, that does not define me.
Right.
Right.
But it has definitely hurt me over it, but I'm finally growing out of it.
Yeah.
I'm rising above it,
Yes.
you know, and it's so
Absolutely.
important, so.
Right,
Yeah.
and she was like, I'm sold, and I was like, oh, sweet.
Yeah,
and
let's
she's
do
even right, and we have a meeting hopefully with her in the next couple of weeks to help us push
Figure out.
Nice.
forward because
Good.
she's in community building,
Good.
and I think that's the only way that we're gonna smooth through this. Is
And you gotta
community.
come back, we'd love for her to
Well,
come
that's
back.
for
Yes,
Thursday,
absolutely.
Tuesday. It has
Yeah.
to be like
Thursday or Tuesday,
Yeah.
if you're available, we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
I
let you
think
know.
Okay.
there's more things to be touched
Oh
on
my gosh.
Oh, we
yeah.
know. Talk about so
locally.
Yeah, there's-
what's going down because
yeah.
these
That we
poor
haven't even touched on.
Right.
Some of the
and
things.
doing some research. But like I said, I haven't even gone there with children and other people's children. Like my heart breaks for her.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah.
And those children have to carry decisions that fucking adults that won't even know them.
Well, that's the
I
whole
know.
thing too. Is
Later
all these
down the
kids
road.
are carrying pain that doesn't belong to them.
COVID fucked people up.
Unhealed shit that other,
Yeah.
you know,
That's right.
parents should be healing.
So here we are.
Yeah. So here
You
we are.
know.
Here we are.
Aren't we a product of that or what? I'm just kidding.
No, we are.
Well, I had a pretty good, and that's what I'm saying. I had a good foundation.
I mean,
My
I
parents
did
were
too, but I
divorced.
still carried a bunch of shit I shouldn't have to
We
carry.
all do.
Right.
You
And
know,
nobody
like-
wants to go there. They're like, why does everybody have problems? They're just a drug addict. They're homeless.
Of
and
course.
it's like, let's
It's
get
like,
to the
no.
root of the
Yeah.
problem
Yes.
and look at
Trauma.
the trauma that people have
Yes.
endured
And
and how you continue to traumatize them and
Yep.
keep them in
Yeah.
that state. Let's build people up.
That's
And
right.
HUD,
Holy
what-
shit.
right, like quit gaslighting
Yes.
me. HUD created this problem and I have the fucking
Yeah.
receipts to show
Yes.
that. And that's my whole point. And who's ready to fucking say,
No,
I got the
seriously.
receipts, let's call
I
people
know,
out
right?
this time.
Well,
Cool.
thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh,
it's
that's
such
awesome.
a pleasure.
Yes.
This has been fun.
I have
enjoyed
the
it.
storm.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, is your phone,
Absolutely.
did you have your phone plugged in? Are we
It
still
is.
going live?
No,
I think mine is too. We
That's
were just,
awesome.
Yeah, so we're just
Yeah.
kind
And
of
we got the chip and I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
send it to us and
Yeah, so put it
thank
on,
you guys everybody
Spotify.
for
Yes.
listening.
Yeah,
and
thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah,
And so
share
hopefully-
comments or
Hopefully,
anything.
someone got a shift in their ass
Yeah.
today.
You
What's
know, it's so
your
funny.
shift?
I've been reading so many things about shifts, and I'm glad we named it "What's Your Shift?" To be honest, because we have to shift through the moments
Yes.
of life, and every
Shift,
moment's different. You know, and the moments and how we respond is really going to impact.
And like you
journey.
said, and sometimes we have to course correct and shift their ass
That's
back
right.
into.
That's okay.
I
You
know.
know, I catch myself all the
Yeah.
time, fucking
Yeah.
being like,
Sometimes I'm shifting, sometimes I'm shitting. I
Like
don't
what?
know.
I know, right? It's a little bit of both.
that's right.
Right on.
Shifty shit.
All right.
All right, everybody.
Till
God
next
bless.
time.
Love you guys.
Love you. God
Peace.
bless. Mwah. Awesome. All right, let me turn that off.
Very cool.
Oh my gosh.
Those with me.
That was
All right, love you guys.
Yeah, love you
Stay
guys.
classy, San Diego. Talk to you next.